Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hey.
And Sean Bell.
Hello.
Team, unite. James has he's getting out of his box, isn't he? James is getting out of his box.
He's communicating the brand.
Sean, did you know he was on Sound of Play this week?
Yeah, because I do subscribe to Sound of Play. I've not listened to it yet, though.
Doing his Sonic... Oh, you got to listen to it. It's fucking hilarious. If anyone's listened to this, you all know what James Farley's like. Go and listen to him talk about Sonic music, and I'll tell you why it's funny. I'll tell you why it's funny. Well, there's the whole thing of like the fact that you slate Sonic every time Sonic comes up, and then you're on there saying, "This really gave back that nostalgia that I felt as a child playing Sonic." Come on, James.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't mention the Sonic cycle once.
I didn't know, that's true, yeah. Although I did start to get a bit annoyed about that whole thing about... Because, you know, there's this whole thing of, like, there's Japanese, like, their idea of Sonic, and then American idea. And, like, just listen to the thing, you'll get what I mean. It's all about the music, you know?
Did you hear that ejector seat taking off then?
I can't be bothered to explain this.
I want out of this sentence.
Yeah. Abort.
The other hilarious thing is James, obviously, he knows the difference between this show and that show and our audience and their audience, and he totally tries to be a little bit more posh and intelligent when he talks. You listen to it, Sean, it's so funny. He's like, yes, well, I was considering this to be... And I just thought, this ain't James. What is this? What James is this? Is this like Professor James? Is this what you roll out when you're trying to talk to people like in your work and that, James? What was that
in the real world, yeah. Like in real life. It's what it's like, not on here.
No, because I've known you in real life for a long time and I've never heard you saying things like, yes, well, I believe that the music...
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to you like that because you wouldn't understand, would you? You know, it's
every Monday night, right? Every Monday night, James just gets a rock and he just bashes himself over the head with it before he has to do that.
It brings us down to our level. Yeah, and I like the fact that Kane and Rince now, this show is so big that Kane and Rince are taking like the sort of, you know, lower, lesser known characters from this show and trying to get them onto theirs. You know what I mean? Like, there's me, and they're thinking, well, we can't ask him, he's obviously too busy. And then there's James, it's like, oh yeah, but is he big enough? Well, yeah. I mean, he is only a sidekick, but he's a sidekick on the biggest show on the internet at the moment.
I kicked off our YouTube streaming, you know, with the...
You did. And also, he had a touch of the nice life this week, didn't you, James? You had a touch of the old gaming industry showbiz.
You could call it that.
Showbiz, baby.
He came along to the Destiny launch party with me last Tuesday night. I mean, he was just predictably awkward throughout. We had a nice time, though, didn't we, James?
Yeah, it was all right. You spent most of the night like stealing coasters, so that was like
we didn't get any other freebies, did we? So no. The coaster with Destiny written across it.
I'll tell you though, they were nice coasters because they were like proper, like solid, coasters. Like plastic ones, weren't they? They were pretty good.
Dave, I didn't know you nicked him. Like one the night, he's like, "I've got some great coasters on the event." Oh, okay, that's quite nice.
This is why, Dave. This is what.
Every time,
one at a time.
Every time we walked past the table, he was just like slipping his hand down, and like
I got a couple of them. Pocket. They were just sitting out. They were going to be chucked in a bin at the end of the night.
Like, I got some great coasters. I'm like, oh, cool, let's have a look. And he take a picture of his Tesco bag full of them. And it's like, how many have you got there?
You can walk around with a Tesco bag. Yeah, no, I've got one on my desk at work. Yeah. It's great. No, my favourite bit of the night was walking upstairs and. I mean, it was really awkward when we first got in because Unilad was still filming there. And, like, you know, when you arrive in something like that, you see someone you know and you're chatting to them and you grab a drink and all this sort of stuff. Imagine that happening, but someone just going, "Can everyone be quiet, please?" Like, in the middle of that, everyone's just, like, looking at him. And then it would slowly start to build up. It was fucking awkward. But the exciting thing was that it was Anthony Joshua. You know, heavyweight, incredible boxer. You know, the guy that's changing the sport, just sitting right there playing Destiny. And I went, fucking hell, James, it's Anthony Joshua. And he went, forget that. It's the deputy leader of the Labour Party over there.
Really? It was, yeah. Tom Watson was there playing.
Yeah, he likes his games, doesn't he?
And David was like, who's that? He didn't know who it was. It's like,
well, no, I'm not. People like me shouldn't be into politics. I said to James, go and have your photo taken with him. He went, no. I said, go on, you love the Labour Party. And he went, no, I don't. Like that. Looked at me and went, although I am a member.
I do still have problems with aspects of the. Anyway, just go on, move on.
we got into. We weren't even on the list when we got there.
Oh no, I was on the list. You were
on the second list. The first list we got to. For starters, we got in the wrong lift and then went down into some spa. We just got out and thought, I don't think this is the event, James. There's people walking around in robes.
Destiny 2 robes.
Yeah. And then we went back up we got into the right lift. Well, we went to go to the right lift, and they said, "Well, what's your name? Where are you from?" We said, "Oh, David Turner, James Farley from Spong." "No, not on the list. You're not here." I was like, "No, we definitely should be." They said, "Well, have you got an email?" So we showed him the email, and he went, "Okay, well, I'll just write you on the list then." I thought, "Fuck! If I'd have known that, I wouldn't have bothered going through the process of trying to get on the list in the first place." Anyway, we got upstairs. There was a second list up there, and I said, "Oh, David Turner, Spong," and he looked down the list. He went, "No, sorry, your name's not on here." And I was like, "What?" And then James leant over and said, "Oh no, Spong, there you go, James Farley." "Oh yeah, there you go, James Farley and +1." What?
James Farley from YouTube.com. Yep.
Yeah.
Have you know? Well, this is it because
David was my +1.
I know someone that tried to get in, who's been in the industry for a long time, and he said, I don't understand how I can get in and James Farley, how I can't get in and James Farley's going to be there. And I said, I know that's the biggest insult I've ever heard in my life. and then he said, do you think this is all down to James Farley's Heavy Rain stream? Like that was bigger than we ever thought it would be. And now James is like the proper star of the show. I'm not going to say main one, but bigger than we thought he is.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just luck.
Look at him. Try to be modest. Look.
That's true.
But deep down, he's thinking, "Oh, it was fucking good though. That stream, wasn't it? It was fucking good."
But how was the party though, James? Isn't this one of your first gaming launch party things?
It was all right. The food was good. I was enjoying the food. Like they had those like mini burgers and stuff going around. They were pretty nice.
Sliders,
chomping them up. My favourite was like James bowed out early. He had to catch his train or whatever. But about half an hour before. We were playing Destiny, weren't we? And these two guys sat down, and it turns out one of them's like this big music guy. He does like dance music and stuff. So I had no idea who he was because I'm not into my dance music or anything. But I checked his music out on Spotify, and I'm like, yeah, of course I know that fucking song. I know that song as well. Like because it's one of those songs that just gets played everywhere. And for some reason, James played one game and then said he didn't want to play another game, and then just stood next, like you were just standing to my side while I was chatting to this guy, and I was trying to, get you involved a little bit, but you just stood there and then leaned down and whispered in my ear, "Okay, I'm going to go now." That was it.
It wasn't quite like that. It was
a bit like that.
Because it wasn't just me that had stopped. Like everyone had stopped playing, so I was like, okay, well, no one's playing now because you're just doing your schmoozing or whatever. And I was like,
socialising. It's called, James.
Yeah, that's you were doing that. The other guy like cleared off as well. So I was like, oh, what should I do? So I just thought, well, I'll go over and see what's going on. You were having a conversation. Wasn't terribly interesting. So I just thought, well, I'm gonna go now.
James didn't want to be the gooseberry, did he?
Would you go to another one of those if you were invited?
I don't know. It depends on what the game was. I think it was. I don't know.
What would be the game that tips you over the edge?
NAC 3.
If it was NAC 3, definitely. I especially if I got the chance to meet Mark Cerny, that would be amazing. But yeah.
PS4 Pro. Okay, right. Let's get on to the follow up this week.
Well, after last week's show, during which at one point James passed out and collapsed. That was a shock for everyone. Loads of people were asking how you were, and Ben Simon was first to say, just like to say, I hope JCA Farley is feeling better. You are feeling better now, James, right?
I am. But see, that's another reason why at that launch party I was a bit weird, because I was also constantly trying to stop myself from coughing and collapsing.
I must admit, I was kind of like, oh, mate, please stop coughing. When you were doing it in the lift and that, I was like, mate, you can't do it in here. And that's probably why I'm feeling rough now. So literally no sympathy for you anymore.
Yeah, but it was
that's gone.
The thing is, it wasn't too bad because normally I cough, like it's usually because I'm like I can't stop laughing and I start coughing. But you weren't that funny that night, so it was all right.
I didn't agree with your comedy that night. I'm sorry, I can't always be on my A game, right? Sometimes really I've got to slip down
Dave,
to B.
If you're really funny, Dave Farley would have passed out, but you weren't that funny, so
no.
Next time work a bit harder.
I got a little bit of shit over that about how cold I was towards him, but I will, if you go back and listen to the audio, I do turn around and say to him, "You're all right, James," and you go, "Yep," and I think, fine, now that I can take the piss out of you about it, fine.
I'm still quite gutted that you had that on mute. That would have been incredible.
I know. Apparently, he fell onto some bottles as well. How good would that have sounded?
It was. I fell into some Budweiser. Which
so you were already on mute, and then you passed out. You weren't like mid pass out. You're like quick mute. You're like professional.
No, I started. Well, okay. I knew I was going to start coughing, so I muted it, and then it all happened. And it's weird because I don't want to get into this because it's ridiculous. Because it's just. No, because it's like sometimes I can cough for ages and I don't pass out, but then sometimes it can just be a little bit and then it just happens. And that was a time when it just happened. And you see, the other thing which I didn't tell you at the time was I was actually holding like Switch controllers at the same time. Because, I was just...
Why?
Well, no, because I was just having a look at like Rayman, at Rabbids, right? I was
having a look.
Yeah, I was just seeing where I was up to on there.
So unbelievable.
So I was holding those and then when I woke up, I found they were like on me as well. It was a bit odd. Yeah, the whole thing was a bit odd.
James, you've just admitted to playing games during the show. You know that's a rule and we don't allow that.
No, I wasn't playing the game. I was just seeing where I was up to. Yeah.
That's playing the game in my book.
Well, I wasn't playing.
You had the game on. The screen was on.
Yeah, of course the screen was on.
Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. James, come on, mate, don't do that, please.
Why admit that? All that goodwill just
he's so thick with this shit. Like, I don't get. Keep quiet about it.
Because that was one of the things that made more noise as well. Because all that went all over the floor as well, which wasn't that good.
But we didn't get to enjoy it. It was on mute.
Mm.
We didn't even get a benefit.
Absolute scum. No, absolute scum. Right, okay.
And Andy Palmer, one of the many tweets about Farley passing out. But did JCA Farley be sure to check the garage for origami birds when he regained consciousness?
that was genius.
That was one of the funniest things I've heard of the week.
That was very good.
Easily tweet of the week. Pete Beckett gets involved. He's still listening to the older shows actually, but I'm really enjoying the podcast. I'm a relatively new listener, and I've been going back and listening a lot to the older episodes. And he has some feedback regarding episode 55. Gary Gunman. Firstly, that clip of Peter Molyneux was absolutely hilarious, and I had to rewind it a couple of times because it's priceless. That was the one where Peter Molyneux was regaling us with a tale of his development past, saying that he went to what's the line, Dave? You've said it a million times now.
It's so funny. He goes, and there was it was absolutely disgusting, our first office. There was pizza boxes everywhere and piles of it's just so funny.
Piles of Pepsi. Secondly, he has a lot of... Oh, no, they talk about me and Palace, saying that he has a lot of respect for me because I'm a Palace fan. It's always tough to be a Palace fan, correct?
How can you have respect for that? They get their little flags out.
They make a joke of a club.
I'll carry on. With the exception of the other one in the pod, the rest can't talk, as we are still a Premiership team, whereas Millwall are mediocre at the best of times.
Sorry.
Let's move on.
Four games into the Premier League, not a single point or a goal. I don't know how you can't turn that around. Yeah, well, at least we're in the Premier League.
15 managers since 2010.
How many Chelsea had, James?
Not as many as that, I checked.
How many have you had?
I think about 7 or 8, which is nowhere near as bad. It's still
2010?
bad, but yeah.
Okay, anyway, no, it's been a joke of a season. I'm looking forward to next week or two when the season restarts. And under Roy Hodgson.
Who said this? Who said this?
That's what I'm saying.
Who emailed it? No, who emailed in?
That is Pete Beckett.
Pete, get your little banners out, wave your little flags. I'm sure that, things will turn around for you. You know what I mean?
Let the games
get your
begin.
little banner of the Saw character out. The Saw character. Sean, they painted a Saw, that little puppet from Saw, and unveiled it at their first Premier League match.
No. The funniest thing I ever saw was where they vandalised their own team bus, because they thought it was the opposition's. I mean, that's brilliant.
They're a joke. Go on. Please do not unveil your streamers before the game. Wait until kickoff. Did you see that? The notice that was handed out in pubs, local pubs.
Oh. Okay, continue.
Okay. Thirdly, in regards to comments about Baby Park and Rainbow Road, I hate Baby Park. Sure, it's a short track, but it's a DLC track and one that he hated in Double Dash. So I heard he was super pissed off the fact that it was part of the DLC pack, and honestly, he can't understand why people like it. However, Rainbow Road, Mario Kart 8 version, I would also agree is shit. But the SNES and N64 Rainbow Road courses are amazing, especially N64 Rainbow Road, as a great redesign of the course. Changing it to sectors was genius, and one of my favourite courses in the game, and the music is awesome.
Baby Park is fantastic.
It's just the chaos, isn't it? That's what I love about it.
It's the chaos.
It's just crazy.
If they're going, it's not serious enough, I'll leave off, mate. You know what I mean? It's Mario Kart. It's not meant to be serious. It's just come on now. Right, it's just fantastic, Baby Park.
Dave, what's the name of that female character from The Walking Dead with the swords?
Oh, I thought, is it Michonne?
It is Michonne, yeah.
Because when I was reading the comics, right, I always thought it was McConey. I don't know why. I always thought it's a strange name in it. I'd never heard it before. And then Michonne, and I guess I'd put them together. But, I don't know. Who cares?
You have seen
why
the show,
do people
right?
care?
But didn't you also say Mickony instead of like... How did you
pronounce it? I was trying to say Miccone. That's what I originally thought it was when I was reading the comics.
Anyway, I don't know how you pronounced it last week, but it was confusing to me, but we had audio issues, so I didn't question it. But Chod UK was saying, please can you get Dave to pronounce the name Michonne from The Walking Dead again? Because last week it was like, Miccone. I don't know what you said last week, but it was...
Michonne. I said Michonne. That's what I'm saying. I think I put the two together, what I thought it was and what it actually was.
Just for clarification, so Robert Kirkman, who obviously originally wrote the comic, originally she was called Michonne, but everyone then basically said Michonne and it sort of stuck. Adam Reynolds also tweeted saying, I've literally just listened to the pod. I thought David was referring to a rare gentle walk condition there before I worked out that he means Michonne. And then someone else thought you were talking about Steve Gutenberg's character in Police Academy. So
what was his name? Right, okay, yes. Great.
Luke Fender-Bears.
Great reference there.
Yeah, Luke Fender-Bears, Buscalilly. Okay, this is the last week we talk about this, but the whole naked versus invisible thing. I'm with Dave.
Oh my God, we're not. Are we?
One tweet. I'm with Dave. Naked is comfortable, but when I lived alone, when I lived alone, I'd get home undressed, and not put clothes on until I had to leave.
Right, okay, I'm not like that.
That's just weird. That is just odd.
I wouldn't start bottom naked, but I will. I mean, I do. Yeah, just wore any pants. It's lovely, isn't it? Okay, so that's the last one about that. This is also the last two tweets about the PS4 Pro TV. That's it.
You've got to be kidding me. Come on,
Matt. This is where you should be doing, checking these. You shouldn't
absolutely right.
I am checking, but people tweeting it's got to be said.
Go on, let's hear what's got to be said. Then go on.
Right, actually, it's not. I probably should have deleted these. James Carter, 3 weeks of PS4 Pro TV on Computer Game Pod, and no one has asked what happened to the PS4 Pro breaks. Multiple points of failure is a bad idea.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I mean, that's funny. What happens if it breaks? Well, you get it either fixed or replaced. I'm assuming it would be under warranty, so... what happens if your TV breaks?
I think what he's suggesting is... No, do you know what? No, I don't care. Forget it.
Yeah, good. 6 Squid Games tweeted, good evening. With the Xbox Scorpio Edition announcement a few weeks ago, does James get another EFE prediction added in his favour? Now, James, what did you say there's going to be like a Scorpio Edition or something?
I don't remember this. I remember it... because I said it was going to be called the Scorpio.
Oh,
and that was
in which case.
Oh, right, yeah. And also, no, it's the predictions are solely for the E3 shows. So stuff that happens after don't count, mate.
No, I mean, absolutely no way. That's it for follow-up. But before the end of follow-up, we just want to talk about next week's live show. Now, we mentioned this a few weeks ago and basically failed to mention it since. But we are we're basically live streaming a podcast next Saturday, or this Saturday, by the time you hear this Saturday, which is Saturday, 16th September, 6 p.m. It'll be on twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show. We're going to do like a regular episode, as we would normally, but it'll be live on video, etc., etc. And we'll be together, obviously, in the same room. Everyone's going to Leeds for this live show. And then we're going to do a bit more of like a Q&A special or some stuff after that. But basically, it'll start 6 p.m. this Saturday, twitch.tv/Computer Game Show. So send us your questions, tweets, email, whatever you want to do to get as many questions as you can or as you want. And then we'll read them out during the live show.
And a huge thank you to everyone that's subscribed to our Twitch channel. It's a massive help, and you can do that by going to that same website and
it's been
subscribe.
The streams are done. Everyone's been amazing, like comments and all sorts. So it's been fantastic if you've been watching streaming and getting involved in the chat and stuff over last week. It's been brilliant to have you, especially playing loads of Destiny 2 and whatnot. If you want to tweet us, as we just mentioned, it's at ComputerGamePod, or you can email thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Cool. Right, news. Let's hear the news.
This Wednesday, or the day this episode goes out, 13th of September, 11 p.m. UK time, there's going to be a 45-minute Nintendo Direct.
Big.
I mean, they've said basically it's just covering what is coming out on the Switch and the 3DS in the coming months.
Right.
I think, are we all thinking this is going to be mainly Mario, right?
Yeah.
So how long are these normally? Because everyone said, it's really big, 45 minutes. Are they normally just 20 minutes?
They're normally like 20, 30 minutes, I think, aren't they?
Okay. Yeah, so my prediction is that it will be 20 minutes of, I guess, recaps of what's coming this year, Fire Emblem and that sort of stuff, maybe a couple of new trailers, and then the second half will be all Mario Odyssey. I think that's what it did basically for was it the E3 thing when they unveiled Zelda?
Yeah, it's just like mostly
I reckon half of it will just be Mario Odyssey stuff, and I'm not sure I want to see any of it, really.
There's also
I don't want to see any of it.
There's also Metroid coming out as well. The 3DS version, which is out like really soon. They'll probably talk about that a bit, I'd imagine.
Yeah. But no, there was a press event for Mario Odyssey today, so I imagine it'll be everyone get your previews written, do the Direct, and then release the embargo on the previews. So it'll just be a assault.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm excited.
But yeah, I really don't want to see any Mario Odyssey now. I know it's going to be incredible. I just want to avoid that stuff.
I'm with you. Totally with you. And also, someone sent us I think it was an email or a tweet this week that said, so what does the Switch 2018 lineup look like? And I was like, oh yeah, shit. What is? I hope they're doing something. It's weird. It seems to be not much. I mean, obviously we've got, we know about Kirby, we know about Yoshi, we know about Metroid.
True,
we don't even know if Metroid's next year, do we?
No.
So it's kind of like, what is going to come out next year? Are they going to reveal something? They've got to. I think they've got to have something new for 2018 in this Direct.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to. But
I guess my question was, if this is very much about what we know of and Mario Odyssey and some 3DS stuff, it's much more likely sure that they'll have one in say November or December around about the coming months. No, or
could be. They'll want to push something just before Christmas, won't they, to make sure that people know that next year's looking good for them.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right, okay, cool.
The next thing is this fucking Cuphead debacle. So, I mean, I only loosely followed this, but I became aware that, it was been posted around on Twitter. Dean Takahashi, writer for Venture Beat, and I think a bunch of other places. I mean, he's been in the industry for like 25 years or something, right? There's some footage of him playing Cuphead at Gamescom. And to be fair, when I first watched it, I was shouting at the TV because he is really bad at it. I've only watched like the first minute where he's doing the little tutorial bit and not even, presumably not even reading the prompts on screen. It's just him.
Oh no, he was reading them.
Okay.
He thought in a statement he said he thought that when it said press this way to dash, he thought you could dash through walls.
Oh.
And then couldn't quite understand why he wasn't dashing through walls. So that's why he just kept dashing through walls, or at least trying to.
Yeah. And it's become another one of these things, hasn't it, where you can't try and have like a reasonable opinion on it because by me saying like, actually it does look kind of stupid, that's already putting me a little bit on the side of people sending him death threats. And
so the issue is that he played this game and then people were kicking off that he was rubbish at the game. Is that basically it?
Yeah.
That's the issue at hand here.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it just plays into the hands of, this like subsector of people on the internet who think that games journalists are the worst people alive, and it's just like, see, he's not even qualified. We were right to harass all those women. Look, you know what I mean? It's fucking pathetic.
Well, the thing is, right? The thing is, what this should be. This is what should happen. That video goes on the internet. Yeah. People laugh at how baddie is at it, and then he goes, no, I was pretty shit when I. The end. That's what it was. Because it was fucking hilarious watching him trying to play that game. It just was. It was just funny. He was terrible at it. That's fine, right? Secondly, don't get offended if someone says you're shit at a game. Who cares? Who really cares? And the people that are saying, well, should he be reviewing this? He wasn't reviewing it. He was getting some footage, right? And they were saying, well, what happens if you're a games reviewer and a game's too hard for you? And I'm pretty sure it's happened to me in the past, a while back. And I turned around and said, I'm getting nowhere with this game. Either I'm not getting it or it's just above my level. I don't know. And I sent it back and I didn't review it, right? That's what should happen.
Yeah.
This is fine. There's no problem with that. Yeah. But yeah, as you say, it's like people kicking off. I don't even want to give them the I mean, people have been condemning. Of course you condemn them. They're fucking idiots. Yeah. People on Twitter just trying to drag people down, and there's fucking scum everywhere on the internet. It's fucking awful, right? The death threats and stuff. I mean, pathetic. Look at yourselves. But at the same time, he was really bad at the game, and that's not backing the scum up. I'm just discrediting the scum because fuck them, right? I just don't even want to talk about them. They're idiots. And his response was not needed. All he had to say was, I was pretty bad at it, but then he felt that he had to say something because he was getting so much shit. It's a shame, really, because that's something that could have been, that's legendary, and now it can't be because of scum. So yeah, that's my view on the Cuphead video. Have you watched it, Matt?
I've only watched a little bit. I mean, I couldn't watch the whole 26 minutes.
It reminded me of when you were playing Uncharted.
I was going to say, it reminded pretty much I saw a lot of myself in that video. Luckily, I don't have enough people watching to call me a shithead and wish I was dead. But the fact he had to put out a statement, it's like...
I know it's embarrassing. You can't have a laugh and a joke. Like, it is embarrassing, and it makes the whole gaming culture looking like it's just an embarrassment to the culture. It's embarrassment to people that really like games and try and defend them to people in the office that think they're only for idiot kids that don't know what they're talking about. Immaturity and all this sort of shit. Yeah, you're playing into the hands of being an immature prick on the internet. You're making everyone look like that. Can't just play nice. That's it.
Yeah.
Can't just play
it's
nice.
Like the fact that people can take that video and turn it into like what they see as a moral issue. It's just pathetic.
And I think there's part of it, right, where I just wish that everyone could just, like, it's one of those things, just ignore them. But you can't. When it's getting serious and when there's shit like that coming out, you can't just ignore them, because then people are getting threatened, and that's overstepping the mark, clearly. Like, that's not just something you can ignore. It's a problem that needs to be addressed. But you can't reason with these pricks. Like, you just can't.
So that's the thing. I meing, like you said, like, making this out to be a moral issue is, like, laughable. Especially with that guy who, like, he did that and then he's been fine about the whole PewDiePie thing. He just thought it was a bit, there was no problem with that.
Who was fine about the PewDiePie thing?
Yeah, it's that guy.
He's also tweeted about that as well.
Yeah.
Who?
It's Dean Takahashi.
No. Is he tweeted about that as well?
Oh, I thought that's what you're implying.
No. There's that guy. Ian
the one
Wells.
that appears on the Joe Rogan podcast all the time.
I don't know because I don't listen to that.
What's his name? Just tell us his name, James.
Yeah, but come on, James.
It's Ian Miles Chung.
Fuck!
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, okay.
Did I get it right? Was he the guy on Joe Rogan that always winds me up?
I've no idea.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. Right. Okay. So what was he saying?
Yeah, because he was the one that was laying into him like the most, like about how this is like ridiculous. He shouldn't be allowed to do this and everything. And then after the PewDiePie thing dropped the other day, he was like saying it was. He didn't say it was fine, but he just said, "Oh, look, everyone's going to be up in arms about this and writing like think pieces about it, like as if it wasn't like a thing." You see what I mean?
And his hatred
okay, come on, let's get
same...
onto that story then, because I mean, I'm sure everyone knows, but what was the story there, Sean?
So PewDiePie did a stream and he accidentally, because he was angry, said the N-word and then said, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I
have no idea how someone can get that big and be like, there's ways you look at things, and I always try and step back and not be part of the lynch mob and people instantly judging, and again part of that Twitter crowd, the Twitter wave, whether it's pushing on someone from that's doing something offensive or someone that's being picked on incorrectly, you know what I mean? It's there's different more issues, and I step back and say, well, how does that get into your vocabulary? That stuff,
exactly.
And you don't know what his life was like at school and what his friends were saying around him and stuff like that. And I mean, you can always go back to your school days and remember the horrific shit all of you and your mates were saying. And I'm sure there was people that, well, I didn't. You probably did. If you remember back, we were kids, didn't know the strength of language and words and what you were doing, right? And I look back at some of the stuff that I did when I was a kid, and I cringe and I hate it. It's embarrassing. I try and block it out. But the thing is that you get to a point where you recognise that you can't just go around saying shit that you used to say when you were a kid, because it's fucked up and it's wrong. And although I wouldn't necessarily say someone that uses that word in that way is a racist, you have to recognise that saying that phrase is a racist act. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, it's damaging regardless of your intention or whether it was an accident or whether it was a joke. It's harmful. Regardless,
but for someone to do that, who's knowingly got an insane following, like a huge audience, it's just outright fucking dangerous. Like it's ridiculous from people who can look at that and justify their own racism to people that don't understand it and use that word in the wrong context and get beaten the shit out of. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you've got a young kid that's a big fan of PewDiePie and they think, well, he says it, I can say it, and then he says it in a setting that's going to get him beaten the shit out of, he's responsible for that fucking knock-on effect. Yeah. He just is. Like, I mean, I use offensive words, I do. Like, I drop the C-bomb left, right and centre, and some people don't like that.
Crap.
And I get that, and I'm sorry, like, but that's just, my language or whatever. But this is another level. This is completely different. And when I watched it, what shocked me more than anything else, I mean, the word makes me just physically repulse anyway, and I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm the king left man. I mean, it just does. I have a physical reaction to it.
You're not the king left man.
No, I'm not. But what shocked me the most was the way he reacted afterwards. Because if I had a complete meltdown in my brain and something that offensive came out of my mouth live on Twitch or whatever, I would almost have a meltdown immediately and apologise and say, I don't know where that come from, what the fuck is going on, He sort of tilted his head back and laughed, and I was kind of like, the fuck? Yeah, but where's the shock? Where's the shock?
I'm not sure why people are sort of surprised by this, because there was that whole sort of anti-Semitic stuff as well, where he kind of demonstrated that he's just completely tone deaf about society in general.
Well, but also, I feel like he just feels like now there's no ramifications. He did that anti-Semitic stuff before, and he might have had some people dropping, like Disney dropping, but I reckon he probably thinks, well, there are no repercussions to this, and he doesn't care enough.
There's no way that he can think that. I mean, being dropped by Disney, and he's definitely must have lost ad revenue and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely, yeah.
I can't believe that he thinks that there's no consequences for this stuff.
The thing is,
but he thinks to him they probably won't affect him that much. That's just
with that anti-Semitic stuff. You could angle it. You could twist it, and not even twist it. I don't know what his original intentions are. I don't know the bloke. I watch, little tiny clips and turn off because he's shouting, and so I don't know what the guy's like. But you could say, I was just seeing how far these people would go to get their £5 or whatever it was on Fiverr, and I misjudged it, and I took it too far, and I'm sorry or whatever. Like I don't get it, but I can see how you can angle that to say, do you know what? I just misfired on a joke, basically. There was none of that. There was just he called a character in the game the N-word. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
There's no angling that. There's no getting around that. And then said, I don't mean it in a bad way. What way do you mean it then, you thick cunt? Like, honestly, what is going through your head? You are in a position where you get to make a lot of money doing what you want. And I'm not naive enough to think that that's an easy life, because every job, whether you love it or not, has, some bad sides to it. It just does. Like, it's a job. But you are in a privileged position where you get to play games, and not as a playtester, you get to just play games in front of a huge audience and get paid a lot of money to do so. What is going through your mind to let any of this shit happen? It's totally beyond me. How thick can you be? It's just, mate, I look at something like this and I just think I don't know how you've got people defending you, for a start. Like, that blows my mind. It's insane. It's just insane. Fucking winds me up. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I was reading through some of the comments on the video today, and like his fans saying, I stand with PewDiePie, and PewDiePie was, it wasn't wrong and that sort of stuff. But then also people are just freely using the N-word in the comments now, because they probably think, well, it's fine. I was just saying earlier, Dave, it's fine to say it because, PewDiePie said it, and it's a meme now. It's like, no, you're just making a language more commonplace, and you think it doesn't offend people because PewDiePie said it. And exactly as you're saying, David, it's like a knock-on effect of that. Kids in the playground will definitely be saying that word way more this week because of, one, this news story, because their YouTube hero said it, and the fact that it hasn't really come out on I don't think, last I checked, he hadn't even tweeted since, hadn't said any apologies, hadn't done anything. I mean, like, when he first said the word, he said, "Oh my God," and I thought that was him almost reacting to what he said, almost like as if it surprised himself. But I watched it a few times now, and maybe he was just actually referring to, "Oh my God, he hadn't killed that guy in PUBG or whatever."
That's what it felt
but
like.
At first, when I watched, I was like, okay, so he was like shocked himself. But even if that was the case, he then didn't stop and say, "I'm sorry." He just never seems to come out of the character. I'm not, if whether it's character or not, he never basically stops and says, "I'm sorry, let's move on." He just doesn't think about that at all. And I've said in the show before, I've been a fan of his stuff. I've liked his stuff for a long time. I know he's like very offbeat, but now I can't be doing it. I'm unsubscribed from YouTube, it's a big deal, guys. And I've unfollowed on Twitter. I just can't be bothered with it anymore. So every week or every whatever, it feels like another controversy. It's not just that offbeat humour, which I liked certainly in his early days, and it felt like he was blazing trail and doing whatever he wanted to do. Now, maybe he's pushing it too far, or maybe he doesn't care, or maybe he's just a complete idiot. But whatever it is, I'm done. And it's I don't know if it's like the fame that's got to him, and he feels like he's invincible, or what. But it's a shame, and it's shocking.
It's just no excuse. It's just no excuse for me. I can't.
Absolutely, there's no excuse, and this is what I don't understand about how many subscribers has he got?
He's got 57 million. It's the most subscribed channel on YouTube.
So he's got like 57 million people. He had a contract with Disney, which he obviously lost and everything. Why has he not got anybody around him that's like saying, "Don't do this stuff"? This is like...
he must have an agent.
I mean, to be fair, Notch has a person like that, and look at the shit he still comes out with.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that when you're live in front of the camera like that.
Actually.
And that other dude that was on with him as well, that sort of just like laughed. I don't know. It's just again, like the Cuphead story, it's just another thing that, I mean, this was on BBC News this morning.
Really?
People sitting there watching. Oh, big gaming star drops the M-bomb on. It's just like, fuck off. Like, just get away from... I mean, it's just embarrassing. Like, it's just...
the thing is, if this was, say, like the whole Russell Brand, Jonathan Ross controversy from years ago on the radio, when they rang up. Is it who's Sachs?
Andrew Sachs.
Andrew Sachs, and said that, and Jonathan Ross blurted out that Russell Brand had fucked his daughter, etc., etc. There's a massive controversy. The radio show stopped immediately. Russell Brand went away for months. It feels like PewDiePie needs to do that, but I don't think he will. But he needs to be like taken away.
That's the difference between broadcasting and being on the internet.
I feel like if I was if he had people around him, or if it feels like he needs to go away. I know he's going to lose revenue, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Go away, rethink what he's actually doing, what he wants to be doing. Like this, loads of people actually in the comments today that I was reading, loads of people saying you are bored of YouTube, aren't you? And apparently he's been saying this for a while, or people think he just doesn't care anymore, and he's just
fuck off then.
He needs to go away. Basically, go away.
Exactly. That's not a way to sort of like get out of YouTube. Crazy. Just be like, I'm going to be a massive racist, and like that, then people will let me go. Just leave.
Imagine doing that every time you wanted to quit a job. Just standing up in the office.
The only way to do it is just get like you can't quit. You have to be sacked. You have to start acting up.
It's like I want to break up with this girlfriend, but I don't want to do it myself, so I'm just going to be really horrible to her, and then she'll break up with me.
People do that. It's
I know, that is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, people it's just like surely there is no way he needs the money at this point as well, right? I mean,
well, we don't know, do we? And let's face it, millionaires would still want more money. It's just I don't think it's anything to do with that. I just think it's a complete knobhead not knowing what he's doing.
Yeah,
and maybe he does need help. Whatever, I don't. Maybe he's a racist.
To his credit, in the past he has spoken up about mental illness and stuff, and basically the fact that doing his YouTube channel makes him fucking miserable. But again, so just stop doing it and go and have a sabbatical and take some time for yourself and get well, rather than just doing this shit.
Yeah. On the subject actually of him being a millionaire, in the last year or so, he's had to move out a few times because landlords are kicking off, and I'm thinking why don't you just buy a house? Surely he can afford to do that. He always come out to his landlords not being happy and having to move out on neighbours, and I don't get that either, but anyway, but that's a totally different subject. Yeah, regardless, I'm sick of hearing about this controversy every week, and this is it's gone way too far. You can't.
Right, I'm done. Okay. We've covered this now. What have we got? Any other stories?
LA Noir's coming to the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and there's a VR version as well.
This is worse than the PewDiePie story. I mean, can we get an uplifting?
Well, some people think this is very uplifting, Dave. Some people, for whatever reason, think that LA Noir is a good game.
Those people are wrong.
Yes, I know that. We know that.
So I never played this. Was it really that bad?
It's certainly not good.
I hated it. It was another one that initially I was so sold on it. When you're doing some of your first crime scenes and stuff, and then. Yeah. There's just, do you reckon you're going to play it? Can I spoil it, or?
I'm considering streaming it because I think it'd be quite funny.
That would be. I'd watch that
because it was. It was quite laughable when it came out in places, and I doubt that it's aged that well.
I haven't never played it. I thought that everyone was loving it because of that incredible, the voice acting and the animation stuff.
Because it's got this mega animation tech, but it's aged really badly for one thing. If you watch footage of it now, it's already
it was more the tone, wasn't it?
The funniest thing was that whole thing whereby the tone was sometimes wrong. So you'd choose you could choose options for if you were doing interrogation or whatever, and sometimes it just went really over the top when you didn't mean it to. And it was it was really funny. You'd be talking to some old lady, and then your character would just start screaming at her about how she'd murdered somebody, and it was the tone shift was
a bit like Blake from Heavy Rain then. Just
exactly. Except you're him. Which actually sounds incredible, but it's not.
I remember there was just some random open world bits that just didn't need to be there. They felt completely out of place, and I was just well, can I not just get to the next bit? Why am I driving along this town that I can't really do anything in?
Well, there was that, and there was also the other thing I always remember is that there was always side missions that always every single one ended in a chase and the suspect being murdered. You killed whoever the suspect was.
This is my main gripe out of many is that when you finish the game, no one that you arrest actually stays in prison. They're all either actually innocent or there's some fuck up that means they don't actually stay in prison. And it's just bollocks. And And
well,
just the whole...
Isn't that a reference to today's... Isn't that like satire, talking about today's broken prison system, Sean?
Well, that's what it sort of tried, like, because basically, when you find, like, an actual legit criminal, and it's like, oh, it turns out he's, like, a senator's kid.
Yeah, I think that sounds very clever.
Do you think it will look as good on the Switch as it was on the PS3 and Xbox 360?
So this came out for 360 and PS3, right?
Yeah, so it should look as good as those versions, right? At least
I should imagine so. Yeah.
I'd be interested to see that.
But yeah, I just so this, LA Noire had Rockstar's logo on the box. It wasn't made by Rockstar. Rockstar bought up a failing project because they wanted to get their hands on this animation tech, which, as it turns out, they just haven't really used since. Because again, it's a nightmare to do, and it doesn't actually look that great in hindsight.
But
didn't no one would have given a shit if it wasn't for Rockstar being on the box, I don't think, and the animation tech.
Didn't they use... Oh no, that was Manhunt. I was thinking they used some of the combat or something from it for like GTA, but I think it was Manhunt they did that with.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But, yeah.
And then, I mean, if there was a list of Rockstar games that I wanted on Switch, that would be rock bottom.
Table tennis, mate. Come on.
Table tennis over that. I would take table tennis over that. Okay, cool.
Does this mean, though, hopefully maybe we might see some more Rockstar games on Switch, though? Like maybe...
No, I don't think we will.
You see, I've been seeing this, and people on Twitter giving it like, oh, maybe we'll get Red Dead 2. No.
We're not going to get that.
Have you seen that game? That's not... It's not coming to the Switch.
They might release some of like last gen stuff though. Just as like it's a simple way to make money on it. Just to churn out like GTA 4 again or whatever on it. Be alright.
I mean, GTA 5 ran on the 360 and PS3.
It did, yeah.
Fucking imagine that.
What I was thinking is this is Rockstar or whoever's developing Rockstar's sort of first foray into VR. I know it's like it's a Vive only version. It's just a little spin-off thing called the VR Case Files, which is according to Storing Your Game, it's adapted several case files from LA Noire into self-contained experiences, and that's it. I mean, it's obviously not the full game to VR, but yeah, that's what excites me. Obviously, being a VR fan, is that this is their first foray into that, and it'd be interesting to see what happens and what it's like.
Bit weird that they're not doing it for PS.
Yeah, I thought that. But
I don't know. I mean, it's exclusive to Vive, so who knows? But and maybe the sort of controllers of Vive are better suited to whatever they want to do versus a PSVR sort of light sensing. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, fine, okay, right. Well, I mean, we got what you've been playing. We all know what we're going to talk about. But James, before the show, went, "Oh, I've got something else to talk about. Why are we doing that this week?"
Okay, I won't do it then. Go on, I'll skip it. That's fine. If you just want to talk about Destiny for the entire show, that's fine.
I think we've got so much to cover, though.
Well, go on then.
Can't you do it next week? What's the game?
No, it doesn't matter. I can wait until
I am
next
actually
week.
interested in hearing about it, but I mean, it's up to you, James.
Yeah, so am I.
No, it's all right. Because this is just going to be a Destiny show, isn't it? So you might as well just kick on with that.
Yeah, but what for the people who aren't into Destiny? They need something.
Well, they're not into Destiny. They're already fucked, Matt. They're not.
Yeah. Too late, baby.
Probably going to be fucked for many weeks. I think it's the way it's going to be, but yeah.
So what you saying, James? No,
just leave it. I'll do it next time. It's fine.
Okay, cool. Right, Destiny 2 is a computer game that came out last week, and ooh, baby, it's better than I ever thought it would be.
I mean, for what it wants to be, it might be perfect.
I was saying it's about as clear cut as a 10 as I've played all year.
Yeah.
I mean, Zelda is, at the moment, Zelda is my game of the year.
Yeah.
This is running it very close.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's start at the beginning. So I didn't know much about the beginning. I didn't play the beta or anything, not to any length of where any of the reveals were or whatever in that first mission. And I didn't really know what to expect when I booted it up. I can't remember a game ever starting this well.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember enjoying an intro. And don't get me wrong, a lot of that is because I played a lot of Destiny 1. And it plays to that. Like, the whole intro is a big fan service.
Oh, yeah, that's so good.
I mean, we're going to talk about the intro, but whatever. So, the opening bit, James wouldn't have seen this when he launched. But it shows you, like, sort of cards, doesn't it? It's like some artwork with some text underneath it, showing you stuff that your character has done.
Oh, no, I did get a bit of that.
In the previous game.
How?
I got one of those, and it said I did it with you, David.
Oh, because it is.
Oh, right, really?
Yeah.
What, is that because it's account level? So it referenced your Xbox One things you did?
No, because I've got it on PS4 as well.
Oh, of course,
like the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so it shows you stuff that you've done and tells you who you did them with. So a lot of them was me and John and Matt, and then there was one me, Sean, and I can't remember who else it was with.
Chris Bam was one of them. I'm sure I did one with him. Yeah.
So instantly, I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." That reminded me of all the really cool things that happened.
And there's a bit of text in it. It's all sort of written in like a really sort of solemn way, but without being cringeworthy.
No,
I mean,
it's
like
just
you did
a really,
this and,
really simple trick.
Yeah.
Like it remembers what you did, and it tells you what you did in this nice little thing.
It
just reminds
tells you the date in which you did it, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah, it's cracking. Then the first mission starts, and a lot of you will know this. I didn't know this, but the tower the tower is under attack.
Yeah,
and you're actually having a gunfight in the tower, and I was like, this. I mean, it's straight up Nick from Mass Effect, but who cares? Because this is just. It's just wonderfully done. That really took me by surprise, and I was like, it affected me because it's a place that I've spent a lot of time in.
Yeah.
Then you lose your light, which we all knew was going to happen. You have to start again from zero, and it was a mechanic. It was just the way it did it was very clever.
Yeah.
And then you get your light back straight away. It's not as powerful. It's all these sort of setting up what the game is, stuff the game has to do rather than intended to do from an artistic standpoint, but it does it in such a good way that you never really kick off about it. You never roll your eyes. You don't roll your eyes once. No. You just think, okay, this is really good. And then there's this whole Half-Life style intro thing in this world that has gone to shit, and with these enemies that are horrific to be around. And people have said this jokingly, that it crams more story in the opening, 30 minutes of that game than it did the whole of Destiny 1. Yeah. And I came away from a feeling when I finally got to the farm, which is the social area in the game, that replaces the tower. I had this feeling of, because throughout Destiny 1, I didn't care about the story and I didn't really care about the characters.
I mean, there really weren't any characters really at all in Destiny 1 until Taken King. No. And even then, that was relatively short.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the farm, I looked back on it and went, oh, maybe I did then. Because now I suddenly really care about the world and what's going on in it.
That was that was the first.
I suddenly really care.
The first thing that really gripped me was just like, oh my god, I give a shit. Which as much as I loved Destiny 1, I never cared about the world or the people in it, and the other amazing trick that it pulls is that so many online games really suffer from being hey, you're the chosen one, and you're like, am I really? Because there's millions of other people playing
there's
this,
loads of us,
and it does fall foul of that later on. But for that opening section, I felt like I was convinced that I was the only person this was happening to, and I was the one escaping and getting out. And
that level. So after the first one, there's I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say the slower level. I thought that was so well done. The music was absolutely incredible.
Yes.
Oh god, the music is off the charts.
Sort of change of pace.
Yeah.
It looked incredible. The atmosphere and the lighting. That was absolutely perfectly done. I love that so much. Yeah, brilliant.
I just remember being so pumped. I remember thinking, I'm going to enjoy some Destiny. I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. That's the feeling I had. And then suddenly I was like, whoa, okay, serious. I'm not just, I'm looking for, I wouldn't mind playing a bit of Destiny again. Yeah. It was, oh my god, this is going to take over my life for a bit now. Because I give a shit, and it looks incredible. And it feels as good to play as the last one did.
Those opening levels, I've actually started 3 characters now, and even after the third time, that is still brilliant. Those opening levels are still atmosphere. It's not like, hey, you've done it once, you're just going to race through it. The atmosphere, obviously, or everything else I've mentioned is still there, but it doesn't get any less good, even the third time round.
Yeah. Okay. So I started playing. Went through. I've now beat the campaign. I'm level 20. I'm about 220 light now, I think. 220, 215 light or something. I know, Sean, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah.
What?
I was just saying, it's only been out since Tuesday, and I've already put 38 hours into it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I mean, I'm just getting it in now while I can. Do you know what I mean? Because from October, it's all game over. So,
So we did. Basically, the overall theme. We'll do. I'll tell you my overall feeling of the game, and then we'll go into the nitty gritty of it. The overall feeling is that, like Destiny was a game that felt so much fun to play and had so many clever ideas, but it felt like you had to defend it on quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
It's like, but what about the grinding? Yeah, I know, but once you get that out of the way, once you do that, and there's parts of Destiny that didn't work as well as I think they intended them to, and things that stuck and things that didn't stick and things that got a bit tiresome after a certain amount of time. And I'm aware that this has only been out a few days, so I'm not, I can't talk about the end game because I'm not there. I can't tell you if I'm still going to be playing this in 2 months because whatever, we don't really know much about that stuff. What I will say is that it's clearly taken everything that Destiny's done and improved on, other than the gunplay, which was brilliant in Destiny, and it's brilliant again in Destiny 2. It's taken everything else and vastly improved on everything. Like, there's not one thing in this game that I've seen or done that hasn't been an improvement over the previous, couple of years of content from Destiny. From little things like increasing the amount of players that can be at the social space. That makes a huge difference because you go in there and it feels fucking alive. To adding these adventures into patrol missions. So when you're, like previously, when you were in patrol and just walking around the level and stuff, you'd just be walking about, popping some heads, collecting materials, and you'll find a mission, you'd activate it, and it'd be like, okay, now pop 20 of these guys. And once you do that, you get an XP boost.
And those are still there.
They are still there. But they've also added these adventures, which literally feel like, I mean, they're better than most of the story missions from Destiny. Like, genuinely, they take you to parts of the map that you haven't been to, and there's usually a massive boss battle at the end of them, and they're fun. They're filled with things that happen. There's a lot less rinse and repeat in this. There's a lot more variety. Vehicle sections. Jesus, how much have I missed that from Halo? And that's a theme that's been running through it as well. This feels like a Halo game. When Halo was good, it feels like a Halo game. Some of the levels later on in the campaign, it's just not even parody. It's as if they've ripped them out of Halo, put the excellent Destiny gunplay in it, and tarted it up visually. It just, every moment I've played this has been a vast improvement over what I played on Destiny, and I loved Destiny. So it's blown me away. It's far better than I ever thought it would be. It's far better than I thought it could be. It's just fantastic. I don't know how they improve on it. Like, I don't know how they could have made it any better than they already did. Like, it's, as you say, it feels perfect. It genuinely feels perfect. And that soundtrack that plays throughout everything you do is some of the best music I've ever heard in a game. Genuinely. There's one song in it that's, Matt was referencing the sort of slow sections at the start of the game. The music that was playing over that, it gets repeated later on in the campaign. Yeah. And I've listened to that 4 or 5 times today, that song. We found out, John's found it on YouTube and he sent me a link to it, and I've listened to it about 4 or 5 times because it's incredible. Like, it's just, the music is just, adds so much to it as well. I hold my hands up. I don't know, maybe I'm a fan just gushing about it because I want to love it too much. I don't know. But all I can say is that from every moment I've played of that game, I've enjoyed every second of it. It's fucking incredible.
It's like, if I was trying to summarise it, it's like, imagine all the good bits of Destiny, but just with all the roadblocks just fucking removed, just gone. There's just no interruptions between doing stuff. Like, you can just the fluidity of it is just unbelievable. Like, you can get 2 mates, you can go to a planet, before you even land on the planet, you can see what's going on. If there's there's these random public events that pop up. in the first game, you could get an app for your phone that sort of tried to guess at where these things were going to be, and that helped a bit, but it was still annoying. But in this, before you even land on a planet, you can look at the map, like, oh right, well there's a spawn point and there's an event like 2 seconds away, so cool, let's do that. And from there, it's just constant. So you'll do that event, and then you'll be like, oh, there's a lost sector here, which are like these little dungeons that you can go in and kill some baddies and get an item. They're pretty good. You pop back out, right, hang on, there's daily challenges, let's nail a couple of those. You go off and do one of those, and then you find an adventure and you go and do that. And it's just fucking constant, you're just being led into cool stuff to do constantly.
And previously, you would get currency by doing these patrol missions, and then fly back to the tower, find the character that you need to cash them in, get an item, and then go do the next thing.
Yeah.
And Bungie have gone, why don't we just stick the characters in the worlds that you landed in? Okay, let's do that. Then they don't have to fly anywhere. They just go to that guy and cash them in there.
Yeah,
fine.
I love that alone brings so much character to the maps and to the areas you go to. I love that.
Yeah, you're not alone in there. You're not just wandering about. There's characters that you can go up and interact with. It's just, it's blown me away. It's properly blown me away.
I think it's one of those things that's completely invisible, but once you realise it, you realise how much work must have gone into it. The difficulty scaling is just perfect. The amount of times in year one Destiny where we were just fucking slogging away against bosses and stuff that were just taking us literally 20-30 minutes. Because the difficulty was just all over the place. Whereas in this, at no point have I chosen a difficulty level for anything. I've just been doing whatever, and it's always been pretty challenging, but not fucking stupid. Every time. And that's
I see, because that brings me on to maybe the only negative I've got, is that I haven't had that moment of being up against the wall yet.
Okay.
I've not had that moment where I've been properly challenged.
Get on the Nightfall.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be, and I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah.
But I remember playing the campaign for the first time in Destiny, and there being several moments where I was like, "Whoa, this has got serious." And at no point have I really struggled. I think we did the final boss first time and stuff like that. And that's the only downside. But then I'm so aware that shit is going to ramp up later on anyway that I'm not too concerned about it. Those moments are coming, definitely.
Yeah.
Raid starts this week.
Yeah.
So in the strike, Sean, you don't select a difficulty anymore. You select it and it works it out for you.
Yep.
Oh,
and again, and to me, it's been perfect. There are bits where, like I say, it's never been frustrating. I've never been properly up against the wall. But we've had a couple of wipes, and we've had to be right, hang on, what were we doing wrong? And that's fine. It's been really good.
So I haven't done any strikes yet. So I haven't finished a single player yet. I think I've put maybe 5 missions. I've hit level 20, but still get to finish single player. But and I've unlocked strikes and patrols and all the other stuff, but I haven't done any of those yet. How are the strikes different? Do they seem much improved, or are they more the same, or do you think there's a bit of raidness about them, or not?
There's no raidness about them, really.
Oh, there is a bit.
The ones I've done
the bosses are pretty smart. Sometimes they're
really?
they're Taken King level. So for those who aren't aware, year one Destiny, all the bosses were just bigger versions of normal enemies, and they were just fucking bullet sponges, and it was tedious. And then with the Taken King, they sort of took some of the sort of puzzle elements from the raid and sort of put lighter versions of them in the new strikes, and that was really cool. I mean, it basically boiled down to grabbing items and having to shove them in a hole to drop an enemy shield and stuff, but it was just cool. It made you think a bit. And the ones I've played in Destiny 2 are sort of all on that level, I think. Do you not agree, Dave?
I don't think I've seen anything as complicated as the one from Taken King yet. I've done 2 of them, and they've been pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit more interesting than the ones in Destiny 1, for sure.
Yeah.
But nothing to the level of the Taken King yet. But
it's been a bit weird. Apparently, there's 7 strikes, but I think they're on a weekly rotation. So I've only seen 2 or 3.
Right. Okay.
And I've done quite a few now.
They're shorter, aren't they?
They are. Yeah, which is cool. I think I'm all right with that.
I'm not. I haven't got to. Yeah, I haven't got a problem with that really. because you usually just blitz through them anyway by the time we were playing Destiny properly. You just run through them anyway. So the quicker we get to the rewards, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You can't in Destiny 1, the strikes, you could launch just a playlist which would just give you random strikes at like a certain difficulty level, or you could actually pick them from the map, like because they were sort of part of the story. Whereas this time they are just totally separate; they're just on the playlist, so you can't you can't specify which one you want to do, which I don't think is an issue. Hasn't bothered me.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Does not bother me.
What else? The fucking Crucible, man.
It's good.
Jesus Christ.
Really good.
I played a fair bit of it on the first game, but it was never my main reason for playing it. But like, oh my God, the sessions we've had, we've been fucking screaming. Like,
the game we had last night was just so good because it was so close throughout, but we were always lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was as if we pulled our socks up and went, okay, come on now.
Yeah.
And we won by 4 points in the end, and it just felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it felt so good.
I absolutely love that new supremacy mode. I think that's... a lot of people are obviously saying it's similar to Kill Confirmed from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I haven't played that, but it's just such fun.
Yeah, man. Really good. And just like...
Have you played any ranked mode yet, Matt?
No.
The ranked ones are very good.
How are they different? Are they different game types or just... tougher enemies?
It feels like a completely different game, to be honest with you. I mean, it doesn't. It still feels like Destiny, but you play it at such a slower pace.
Yeah.
Because the game modes that I've played in ranked, they've all been single life stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Well, not single life. There was one where your team's got a certain amount of lives.
I've played that in unranked.
Yeah, and then the other one was. There was like bombs, and you set bombs. There's 2 locations to set bombs.
Yeah, I've done that one as well, yeah.
Yeah. See, because that was just properly slow, properly considered. And, because you've only got 1 life, you don't want to go running in guns blazing like you usually do with Destiny. No respawns. So it felt at times like my Rainbow Six skills was coming into play because we'd set the bomb, and instead of running around like a lot of the other people were, I'd just set up in a position and sort of look over where people were coming from, just making sure, like, just holding my position, looking down the sights of my guns through the slightest gap in down an alleyway or whatever. And the moment I saw someone, just shot the shit out of them, and it was just, it's a different style of playing Destiny, but it feels just as good.
Just to go back over supremacy mode, so that's one of the new modes whereby it's the first a certain number of points, but for every enemy you kill, they drop an engram looking thing, and you have to collect that to get the point. And obviously, I think it's maybe like first 50 or 60 or whatever, and then your team wins. I think there's 5 of you per team, but that's great tactically because. Obviously, if you kill someone, you instinctively just want to go and run over there and grab that engram, but then or the item, whatever it is. But then, if you go do that, the enemies might be just around the corner to kill you. So then you think, hey, I'll kill that person, but maybe I'll wait a bit, or I'll see if the coast is clear, then go for it. When we were playing the other night, me, Dave, and John, we're doing it. So I was maybe killing an enemy and then providing covering fire while John or someone else ran to get the item. We've had such amazing matches in that game mode alone, let alone any of the other ones.
It also helps that Shax's dialogue is funny as fuck now. Like they've just realised, like
anyway from Iron Banner, but yeah.
Well, this is the thing, so the thing with Shax is the guy who looks after the Crucible, and he like in the first Destiny he had like some like kind of silly lines, but mostly he was quite po-faced, and it's like in this one they've just realised how much people love the silly stuff, and they've just ramped it up, and it's really fucking good. The writing in general is better. I feel like Cade 6, his sort of sense of humour very much outstays its welcome this time.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was alright.
I mean, it's okay.
Because I thought there was a lot less like forced humour in it than I thought there would be.
Yeah, the humour in general is much improved, I think. And it's not like, because with those sort of initial trailers, it was a bit like, is it trying to be serious or is it trying to be funny or both? And is that going to work? It is both, and it does work, I think.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Which isn't.
Although, the Crucible guy, when you pick up heavy ammo now, and he goes, "What are you going to do with that Guardian?" I was a bit like, "This is just creepy as fuck."
I mean, actually, mentioning the heavy ammo, that's another really smart change they've made. Is that basically all the weapons that were annoying in the Crucible, so basically shotguns, pulse rifles, and sniper rifles, you need heavy ammo for all of those now. They all go in that third weapon slot, which I guess for some people who really liked being cheap in player versus player is really frustrating, but for most people it's absolutely liberating. Like, you don't feel like you're getting those cheap like deaths anymore.
Popping around the corner and getting a shotgun in the face.
Yeah. Like, it still happens occasionally, but it's just massively limited, which is good. It should be. So, really chuffed with that as well. We've had a few people, I don't know if this is coming up in the tweets later or not, but people have been tweeting at me being like, what should I do? Like, I'm lost, I'm confused. Just play the campaign. Like, I basically did the campaign just on my own from start to finish, and it was great. And then, like, similar to the first Destiny, like, basically you finish the campaign, it gets you to level 20, and then everything just opens up. And it becomes like 5 times the game it was prior. And it was already good.
I said to Matt last night, we finished it last night, and I said to Matt, it feels like I've just put the game in.
Yeah.
Like, it genuinely does. I mean, I've loved every minute of what I've played, but it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I have to think about it now. It's completely. I mean, there's so much stuff to wrap my head around at this point. Yeah. I turned it off and thought, you know what, I need to do a bit of research before I jump back on next, because I need to understand this game. Like, Matt was sending us fucking spreadsheets. What was it? 2 days after the game came out? And like, Matt, can we just? It was a video on how to best maximise your levelling up, which
don't worry about that stuff, man. It's fine.
The levelling up at the start of the game is it happens so quickly. Yeah. They clearly want to get people to the end game as fast as possible this time.
Yeah, like level 1 to 20 is the tutorial, basically, isn't it? Like, grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and it goes by much quicker than it did in the first game.
Yeah.
So they've obviously gone, okay, it would appear that a lot of people bailed out at level 17, 18 in the first game. Let's just get people up to the end game as quick as possible. You know, if you play through the campaign, you will be level 20 by the end of it.
Yeah.
And we played the campaign, maybe did a couple of other bits, and then finished the campaign, and I was level 20 way before we finished it. Yeah. So it's kind of like... and I don't want to ruin it, and I won't. Like, there's no spoilers here. But that final boss in the campaign, just everything about that fight was just like proper. I had a moment where I went, oh my god. Like, the first time you
was that when you
see
looked
the
up
arena,
by any chance?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, I said to John last night, you know, when you look up at Canary Wharf when you're standing at the bottom and you get all a bit weird.
Yeah.
It was that. It was exactly the same feeling. I just, like, again, the music and the way the thing was attacking us and everything, it was just very, very well done. Yeah. And then to go back and for everything to be unlocked the way it was is just like, okay. And Matt's been excited to finish the game because there's been a lot of hype over what happens when you complete the game. All I'll say, Matt, is don't concentrate on that hype. People are overhyping it, and they genuinely are. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved it, but people are overhyping it a bit. Just go into it thinking, okay, I've finished the game, and then have a nice little surprise at the end. There's no need to think that it's going to be something incredible.
No spoilers. It's just something that was crucially missing from Destiny 1 was you could finish the campaign, and it was like, what difference did that make?
Yeah, this makes a difference,
But this feels like,
But you were saying when you finish it, looking things open up. But I think even like a few missions ago, when I suddenly opened up the strikes and patrols, even though I was like, "Oh my god, the game's massive!" And now I was literally opening up the things that we'd played a million times in Destiny 1.
Matt, that is a drop in the ocean compared to what happens.
I'm not sure if I did it on stream or I text you or John or whatever. But I was like, "Oh, like the game just feels like 50 times bigger," and that was literally just opening up the things we've done before. Yeah. So I'm
it's excited. Like someone that it's genuinely like someone's put a new disc in my console and I'm starting a game again. It's just incredible. But one person I'm really excited to hear from is a guy, little fella, plays Heavy Rain on streams and that. You didn't play much Destiny 1, did you, James?
He's passed out.
Oh god, he's
passed out.
Not really,
passed
no,
out.
I didn't.
What happened there, James?
No, you all like popped up. It was sounded really weird.
Rabbits.
Yeah, it's like
Okay. Rabbids, definitely the Rabbids there.
I'm just looking at it.
Just seeing where I was up to.
You're still working.
James, you didn't play much of Destiny 1, did you?
I didn't know. I played it on Xbox One a bit, but the trouble is by the time I got to it, everyone was kind of done with it anyway. And then I played it a bit on PS4, but never. Again, everyone was kind of done with it. And I had no intention of picking this up, actually. Like, none. I just thought it's not something I really want to get into because, I just thought there's a lot of stuff coming out this year. And I don't know, I just didn't want another one of these, especially after the first one. I just thought it didn't seem that special. But I kind of got sucked in by the hype, and I bought it in the end. And, I really can't believe I was going to miss it, because it's fantastic. I mean, the thing is, I've played for like 4.5 hours, which is nothing. But I've really enjoyed what I've done so far. And like you said, it feels so much more like Halo to me than Destiny did, in a good way. Like, the story is so much easier to understand with this one, and it feels like a lot more directed. And like you were saying, like the stuff, it's, the stuff like after you evacuate Earth and you're going through those mountains and the forests and everything, and it's just so beautiful. And like the music and just even the combat, I was really enjoying at that point. Like my gun was like, because this time I've played as like a warlock, which I didn't do before. I played as a Titan, and I think for me that was kind of a mistake, because I really have enjoyed playing as a warlock this time, because it just feels a bit more diverse, and I just feel like I can use like different tactics with this, and it's just more fun, like a lot more fun. And I got into that actually because of the event we went to, because like I don't know why. When you played it, were you playing as warlocks as well, David?
No, you get to choose. I was playing as a hunter, because that's my class.
Okay, because mine was a warlock, and I don't know. I think maybe I just picked it up from somebody else that was playing it before, and I just found it more enjoyable than I had done when I played it as a Titan before. But I know, as I said, I've only played for 4.5 hours, but I can't wait to play more of this, because it just seems great. And I mean, Sean gave some really good advice with the start of this, which is just play the campaign, and that. Like, because it does, this doesn't feel overwhelming in the way that Destiny did. Like, to me, that was far worse.
It will, because when you joined Destiny, they pretty much opened up everything by then. So you had bounties and you had all that other stuff, and I took you through it and said, right, you go here, you select this, you do this, and that comes later in this.
But this game. It's much better managed. But I think what you're saying is right, Dave. You had so much to deal with them, but this gradually brings it in. I mean, like I said, I was just excited just to get patrols back. So I like the fact they are gradually adding things. And okay, now I can do this, now I can do that. There was a lot still to get your head around, but I think it's done in such a better, much more fluid way. Yeah, it's done in a better way,
no doubt. James, I cannot wait for you to play more of this, because I'm going to make the prediction now. I think you are going to spend a lot of time with this game. I think because it helps that we're all sort of learning it as you are. We don't know how the game works yet. As we know about as much as you at this point, maybe a little bit more, but nothing that's not going to take a quick afternoon of just like playing together to wrap your head around things. And once you're up to level 20, the sort of gap between levels and stuff kind of becomes irrelevant, because you're all kind of looking for the same things, and you're kind of, the rewards, they scale to what level you are. So it's not like we'll be missing out. You can just tag along with us, help us out, and you will be a genuine help, even if you're just reviving people, which you won't be for long. Trust me, you'll be properly playing Destiny soon enough. But what I'm saying is that once we're all playing together and we're in that zone of aiming to unlock something or to get a certain item or whatever, that's when I think you're going to see the proper magic of what Destiny can do. Like, because that's what wrote me in. I really enjoyed Destiny. I really liked playing it, but it wasn't until The Taken King where I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I need this currency, and if I get that currency, I can do this, and I can activate this. And when's Xur coming? When the fuck is Xur coming? What's he got? What's he got? Has he got what I want? That's when the game sort of took over for me, and it just sounds right up your street.
It's worth pointing out, like, in case anyone's listening to this and feeling intimidated, or it sounds like it's not for you, you can choose how much you get into that stuff. Like, I know people who go, full on spreadsheets and everything for it.
One on this podcast.
And hello. And that stuff puts me right off. Like, people who don't think the word grind is a pejorative term. Like, it's, and I find that really off-putting, but it's like, and you just have to be like, no, I don't have to play the game that way. Like,
you
and that's
could
fine.
literally just do a single play and play it as like another Halo, and I think you'll have loads of fun with it.
That's what I've enjoyed about it so far, is that it feels like I can do kind of as much or as little as I want to with this stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah,
which is
good.
Good.
So you can do the campaign on your own. If you want to do strikes, it just match makes you with strangers. And we don't know how this whole, what would they call it, guided games system works yet. But this is the thing they've put in so that you can hopefully find like-minded, nice people to do the raid with and stuff. Like, that's all in there. So yeah, like, again, people are like, I want it, but I don't know if I've got the time or the mates to play with. Probably still get plenty of mileage out of it.
Definitely.
If you haven't got the mates to play with as well, there's a good group of people linking up in our Discord chat now.
Smooth. Yes, there is.
I mean, if you genuinely have no online mates to play with, this sort of thing, jump on there.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that there'll be some cool people in there that are like, yes, jump on with us.
I mean, if you, there's and the link to get to Discord is pinned to the top of our Twitter account. Just go to /ComputerGamePod and find it there. But I go into Destiny, there's like a Destiny channel, and people are always saying, they're already like arranging to have like party chats and all playing together. So yeah, it's mad in it, and I love the fact that so many people are playing together. There's also a computer game show clan. If you can search for that and find it, there's that. It's really hard to find clans. It says you can do it on the app, but I can't seem to be able to search. Do you know how to do that, Sean?
Yeah, a lot of the clan stuff's a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's like they've so it wasn't in the game immediately, was it? It was a couple of days in.
Yeah.
And then it sort of magically got activated. But then even so, like, if you go to the clan page, it's like, it tells you that there's only like 2 people in the clan or whatever, and and you try and go to the options and they're just not there. And like, you still have to do a lot of things via the website. So I don't know. I think that's a bit of a work in progress.
I think if you go to definitely Bungie.net, you can search for the clan and search for the computer game show. Otherwise, again, there are loads of links within the computer game show Discord. But yeah, there's tons of
we're all getting rewards because there's quite a few people in it.
That's what I was going to say.
Just constantly getting clan rewards. It's great.
Yeah, so like, even if you're not planning on playing constantly, like, you get stuff just for being in the clan as long as people are active. So that's cool.
Yeah. I think for the computer game show one, we've already hit rank level 2, so everyone who joins or has joined has already got a free engram, and then we'll keep hammering it because there's like, I think 50 plus people in the clan. So yeah, as I said, just by being part of it, you'll probably get free engram every other week.
Yeah.
And James, I'm not saying that you do have to get into that stuff, especially not yet. Just play through the campaign first, obviously. Yeah. What I'm saying is that I think you will get into that stuff once you start wrapping your head. And again, we don't know yet. Like, I can't work out what any of the stuff in my inventory is for yet. Mm-hmm. But I think you will definitely get to that point where you're kind of like, we'll all be texting in our group saying, right, what's Zerg got this week? That when we were heavily into it and we were sending the images.
I've heard of it. Him, or whatever.
So is the guy that, unless at least in Destiny 1, he would just appear at some random point in the tower, in the old social space, at a random place, and people were trying to work out where he is, eventually trying to find him, and then be on Twitter and stuff. But he would basically sell you a selection of stuff every Friday, and then he'd be like, oh my god, he's selling this, and then you would have saved up your shards or whatever the currency is, buy them off him, and so I think he arrives first time this week, doesn't he? This Friday, so
this Friday, yeah. And like, the thrill of it is sometimes he shows up and it's just a complete shiter, like he hasn't got anything that you're actually interested in. But it's that, like, that thrill of like,
get the gallo on, go!
Exactly, yeah. Like, supposedly it's completely random, so like, there might be like a couple of like fabled, like well overpowered weapons in the game, and he might occasionally just turn up, and then you try and play PvP and everyone's fucking using it. Yeah, but it's cool. It's interesting.
But basically, always have the currency available, because the one week you don't buy that gun because you thought that looks rubbish, the next week that'll be part of the meta, and it was like, oh yeah, but you bought the one from last week, right? It's good now. Oh, for what do you mean it's been buffed? Oh, Christ. So, I had to basically buy everything every week just on the off chance.
See, the thing I didn't like with the first Destiny was the fact that when I started playing it, it's like you're picking up all these things that are like Grimoire cards and all that kind of thing, and it's like, what is all this?
Grimoire cards are gone, happy to report. They've actually, what they've done with that
we're still saying, what the fuck is all this with Grimoire cards, to be honest with you, mate?
I mean, one thing they have done that's really cool is basically, when you're on, like, if you've got like an exotic item or you're looking at like one of your subclasses or whatever, it's basically press L2 and it will bring up a bit of lore about it, and that's just throughout the game. And some of them are interesting, some are genuinely quite funny, and it's just it's a much more seamless way of like sort of doing the Grimoire card stuff, as well as just the game being much better written, so it doesn't really need that stuff. Like the Grimoire cards were in the original Destiny because supposedly they like scrapped half the story 2 weeks before it came out or whatever, and they were just like, well, we just, I don't know, put these fucking cards in, I guess.
Yeah, that's just another example of how it's streamlined. Like now you can basically just put in, rather than before you had to press a touchpad, then press it again, then go to orbit, then to go to another location. Now you just literally hold down the touchpad, you go straight to basically this map, and you can go to another location without having to go into orbit first. Challenges. So I used to quite like doing challenges in Destiny 1 where you'd go to certain vendors, pick up these cards where it'll say, kill certain enemies, or do this, or there's maybe a bit of like a mission chain, a few missions you have to do. Now, each time you go to like a social space or an area in a map, it feels like those challenges just appear randomly, and so that's so much better than having to go somewhere, get a card, go to another location, do the thing, go back, cash it in. It's all just so seamless.
So that was the problem, because I remember playing it with David, and like I remember because you showed me like all these things, and it was kind of overwhelming, because it's like you have to. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, and he's like, you need to do this because you need it for this like later on, and it's like, why though? And it's just, it felt a bit much, but it just doesn't feel like that at all.
Even for us who went into it, it was still like, if Dave and I were playing, like, Dave, have you made sure you got that mission card? Have you picked up that? And like, I forgot. Let's go out of orbit, back to the tower. Even for us who were really into it, it was still a bit of a ball ache. But I also love. Again, it's all about how streamlined it is. You'll go on the way to the mission, and then a public event will just be there, and you'll do it. You don't have to stop the mission or have to exit or do something. You just, on the way to this mission, or even like the second part of a mission, you'll do a public event on the way. It feels like such an alive. The world just feels so alive, and the fact you can, it does feel like you are adventuring through these locations. It's not like, go here, you're going through like an indoor tunnel bit, which is clearly where it's loading, then another location, then another instance. It does feel like the same fluid environment.
So that's what I really like with what happened to me, because I was playing and I got involved in a public event that was going on. And that was when it began to feel to me like, this is kind of like the future kind of thing, because like what I was fighting against, like it was way, like I was not anywhere near powerful enough really to like contribute like really meaningfully. But then there's all these people around you, and they're all getting into it as well, and it was cool, like to feel that you're part of like finishing like an event like that. That was really good.
Another thing with the public events that's really smart is, with each one, there's like a trick, like a certain thing you can do to make it harder and get better rewards. So if it's like, it'll be, there's like the one with the fall and have like a big drill and they're doing something. There's like a certain bit of it you can target and destroy, and then that makes it harder. Or, if a boss like spawns a couple of minions, it's like you have sort of, 20 seconds to take them all out, and then that makes it harder.
I was about to say, is that how the heroic event starts?
Yeah.
Right, okay, gotcha, yeah. So if you do something well enough, it gets harder and you get bigger rewards.
Exactly, and as as you progress and you get more powerful, you get better at the game. You're doing that more consistently, and that's just another cool thing to sort of consider.
I can't believe before playing Destiny 1, I was there with a laptop open saying, "Dave, let's go to Venus now. There's a public event," and then we'll get there, and they're like, "Matt, where's the thing? Where's it?" I'm like, "It'll be here in 2 minutes," and it doesn't turn up, and then I'll get bollocked, and then. But now it's just it's in the game. It's on the map. Like it's almost crazy that these things weren't in the game previously, but we lived through it. We got through it, and now it's just in there, and it just makes sense. And
that's a good point, actually. You talking about that, because James, what you won't know yet, but you will soon find out, is that Matt can be a little bit difficult to play Destiny with. in that. I mean, you did this several times, right? Where we'd be playing and we'd go, what's everyone want to do? Should we do a strike? Yeah, let's do a strike. And Matt would be the fire team leader and go, well, but guys, if I do a quick Crucible match, then I've reached my challenge for the night and I can cash that in. Yeah, I don't fancy Crucible, Matt, to be honest with you. Can we just do a strike? I've just launched Crucible now, so we'll do this one guy, and you'd just be like, you fucking hell, Matt. Like, you did that about 4 times. And even the other night, we were in the, we were doing a patrol mission in the Eds, and you turned around and said, okay, but maybe if we just do this first. We were like, no, Matt, let's do this.
You hadn't even unlocked challenges at that point, but
let's just go over there, and do that.
We just
and
need to loot
fucking hell,
weapons
Matt.
cache, and we've done it.
Oh, no, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the one night that we were in the cliffs in Earth on Destiny 1, and you made me walk. No, it wasn't in that. Venus. It was in the Dreadnought.
Oh, okay.
It was the Dreadnought, and you made me keep going in and out of these caves because the loot crates would randomly spawn, giving an item in these caves, and we had to go into the caves and back out again and run around. About 2 hours of that. We were doing that for.
My favourite nights. And
it got us a sword. That was it.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I remember doing that.
Yeah,
here's a question. Are there, like, melee weapons in this?
Yeah.
Because
yeah. There's swords and, but that's
now that you mention it, no, what am I thinking of? No, I'm thinking of something. For a second, I was like, no, I was sure I'd heard that there were different types of melee weapons. But no,
if you're a hunter, if you get the gunslinger class, then one of your weapons is a throwing knife.
Yeah.
So I was really good to have that back, and I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, I'm happy, but they've got rid of the fire one, right? You can't have it on fire anymore.
What do you mean on fire? So
it can explode.
Yeah.
It can explode, but in Destiny 1, it used to be on fire, and then you threw it at, like, even if it hit the dudes with the shields, if it hit their shields, it set them all on fire.
You still does that. You can still set people on fire.
Right, okay.
The shield thing, we should talk about that briefly. So in the first game, there's 3 different damage types, 4 different damage types. There's normal, and then there's the special ones, which are basically fire, electricity, and darkness. I don't know, whatever it is. And basically, when you got to the higher levels, you had to match the end. Like, the shields came in the same different flavors as well. So, if someone's got an electric shield, you need to use an electric weapon to take it down. In some cases, it was quicker to do that, but in some cases, it was like essential. Like, you just literally couldn't touch them otherwise.
Yeah, you can do certain nightfalls without. having that.
Yeah. Whereas what they seem to have done now is taking down shields is more or less always easy enough, regardless of what you're using. But if you match the element, the shield explodes when you deplete it. So again, if someone's got an electric shield, you use an electric weapon, you get the shield away, and it fucking blows up and hurts all the enemies around them. So it just feels like a much cooler way of encouraging you to think about damage types and actually use the right one, rather than it just being like, oh, fucking hell, I've got the wrong one, I can't do shit, this is annoying. It's just, you can always deal with the situation, but if you get it right, everyone fucking explodes. It was just a much better way of getting you involved, I think.
I mean, I can't wait for the wacky weapons to start coming into it, because they were, that was the end game stuff in Destiny 1, but you would get a weapon with a certain ability. Like, there was one where if you got a headshot, it would explode and injure the people around them or something. Yeah. And there was sniper rifles that regenerated its own ammo and stuff like that.
What was that sniper rifle from the first night?
Icebreaker?
Icebreaker, that I love that so much, and it sounds like a duck.
The one that quacked every time you shot it.
But it was the fact, it had basically unlimited ammo, or if you got a headshot with the last one, it reloaded quicker, or what something. Yeah, the Icebreaker was that was always in my number 2 slot. I love that thing.
They've done something genius with auto rifles as well. There's certain type of auto rifles where if you just tap the trigger, it acts like a long range normal rifle, and if you hold it, there are certain auto rifles, you hold down the trigger and it fires off bullets really quickly. And then there are other types of auto rifles where it's like a slow build up before it starts firing really quickly. Yeah. But that means that you can just tap it and it acts like a normal scout rifle. Fucking genius. Why haven't I seen that in a game before? That's so obvious. I've seen games where you could press a button and it moves from burst to single shot. But to have an auto rifle that you can slowly like
just control it by controlling the trigger.
Makes so much
I
sense.
also love the fact you can have auto rifles in both first and second slot now.
Yeah, that's all over
incredible.
Well, that's what I've been doing, is having auto rifle in one slot and a scout rifle in another.
Love scout rifle
because then for the long range stuff, you just pop the scout rifle out, and if they start running towards you, you just switch to the auto rifle and tear them to pieces.
And then there's all this, and then James, we've loved Destiny 1, we're loving Destiny 2, but then when the strikes come out, when the raid comes, I mean, the Vol Glass is still, and we've said it a million times before, but definitely one of my all-time favourite
best things I've ever done.
Experiences. The fact we're doing it, like 6 of us, or however many of us, we didn't know how to do it, we didn't know where to go, we didn't know how the puzzles worked. I mean, that's why it took us a week and 8 hours of gameplay, but my God, I mean, if this has been this good so far, and some of the locations have been stunning, some of the skyboxes, the things we've seen, just that I've seen without even finishing Destiny 2 single player, I like to think that they're going to save the really incredible locations and views and vistas and whatnot for the raid, and that if this game is this good now, and they're going to have ultimately surely have saved the better, more complicated, more complex, more in inverted commas true Destiny stuff for the raid, I cannot wait to see what happened with that. And I can't wait to get you on board, James, for 6 of us to do a raid together. It's just an amazing experience.
Two things, Matt. Firstly, we seriously need to go in blind.
Oh yeah,
to the first
absolutely.
raid.
Yeah, it was so much better. Which one did we do where we had someone with us? I'm sure one of them. There was
the darkness one.
It wasn't as good.
Yeah, the Dark Below one was not very good. The other thing that I wanted to say was, in terms of visuals, you've literally not seen nothing yet. The last, say, the last quarter of that game is just next level. It ramps up visually so much.
I think it's the map on Nessus where you go on and there's like green rocks, and then you'll see the ships going over your head, and then you'll turn around and you'll see Jupiter, whatever it is, in the background. I mean, that looks incredible just on that. Actually,
I wasn't expecting
sense of scale that is just unreal.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this to be the first game to make me want a 4K telly and a PS4 Pro.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah,
I need a PS4 Pro now.
Speaking of 4K, so I've obviously been playing. I play most of it now upstairs because that's where my streaming stuff is, and the streaming card I've got. I think all of them now. None of them do 4K yet, so I'm basically just playing it on my PC monitor and playing it in 1080p. But I took the PlayStation downstairs just to start a new character, start a Warlock, and I think this is up there with Horizon as the best looking PS4 game. Like just like the fire in that opening mission looks stunning, and I wish I was playing all of it in 4K. I'm not, because I'm mostly up here and streaming and whatnot, but it looks absolutely incredible. And also they haven't even added the HDR patch. And there's some maps, I'm not sure if it's on IO, but some of the maps where it's really, really, really bright already. And I think when they add HDR patch, it's going to take people's retinas out. But it looks stunning.
Talking aesthetics from a design point of view as well, it's amazing how many of the spaces in it feel lived in and believable. Like the EDZ, the European Dead Zone, or whatever it is. It just feels like an old fucked city, in a way that convincing cities in games are a rare thing, because obviously you've got the problem of well, then, if a city's large enough to have had this many people in it, then you've got to add the people as well, and that's fucking tons and tons of work. Obviously, it helps in this case that they're all dead. But, just walking around, you can visualise it when it wasn't fucked, and how it might have, how people might have lived there, and you can look in the shops and be like, oh, fuck, this was a jewellery shop. It's got all little, glass cabinets and stuff, or whatever, and it's just, it's tremendous.
Yeah, well, Sean, I've got to ask, what's your opinion on the waves in the IO level? I can't remember.
Not a huge fan, I'll be honest.
I can't remember if they look really good or really shit. I think
they look awful.
I think I'm knowing
it's the only bad-looking thing in the game.
It looks so super old school at that one point. I was like, why is this happening? But anyway, that level's got loads of little Metal Gear themes, I felt.
Yeah.
Metal Gear 2.
The arcology on Titan as well, fuck me. That's so good. Again, just a believable, it's like a futuristic city built on the sea, but it's it just feels real, despite being old and knackered and covered in hive wankers. But it's just so good.
Ultimately, it's safe to say that Bungie have done an incredible job with this. And I mean, I've already said it, but better than anywhere near what I expected Destiny 2 to be like. I hope it holds up. I'm talking to you as someone that's played through, played 17 hours of a game that I will eventually play over hundreds of hours of. But it's really sort of put my mind to it. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about what's coming, because if they've made so many good decisions across the 17 hours that I've played so far, I am not worried about how the rest of the hours are going to play out, because I'm pretty sure that they'll keep that up.
Yeah, and the first,
and I'm so excited.
Hours of the first game were instantly forgettable, weren't they?
They were.
That was nothing. It was all about the end game and the other things we did, the raid, etc., etc. But so if it's this good now, at the point where last time we'd forgotten about it and it was nothing. It makes me excited for what the rest of the game holds.
Can I ask a question? Which is about the microtransactions.
I was wondering if we were going to get onto this.
God, here he goes.
I mean, is it just for cosmetic items, or can they be used to get an advantage?
No.
So what are these? Because I haven't really seen them.
Okay, so there's multiple levels to this. So the way the shaders work, which are the items that like change the colour of your gear, they are a bit more shitty now. So it used to be Destiny 1, if you got a shader, it'd have a certain name and a certain set of colours. You would just apply that, and then all your armour is that colour. And you could just swap them in and out forever. You could take it out and then just goes back into your inventory and you've still got it. Now, each shader applies to one piece of gear once and is then consumed. So, like, if you want your entire armour set to be a certain colour, you've got to get 5 of the same shader. Or, but you can also colour, like, your weapons and stuff as well, and your ghost. So if you decide...
And your ship.
And your ship,
you can
and your bike,
ship,
and everything. Which on the surface of it seems shitty, especially because you can now, you can pay real money to buy little loot boxes that give you more shaders. However, having played a lot of the game, I am finding it difficult to get upset about it because I've been getting that many to play with. It's just not been a problem to me.
Yeah, when you said, I need 5 of the same shader, I've got 5 of several different shaders
exactly.
so far.
You get them in bulk, don't you? It's not just like you get the odd one and it's like, I guess I'll start collecting those. It's like
they seem to be in every sort of gift that you get and every sort of loot crate. Essentially,
like the loot crates that you can pay real money for are what you get for leveling up after you've reached level 20. That makes sense. So
I've already asked you before, Matt, but how many loot crates have you bought so far?
Just 5. No, I've bought none so far. So you can buy loot crates, and those are the ones, as you just said, there's ones you would normally get for leveling up after 20. But can you also buy? Is it silver? Is that the other thing you can buy?
So silver's what you. I think that's what you buy the loot crates with. So you buy the silver, and then that's the currency you spend on the loot crates, and you can also buy like emotes and stuff.
Okay, but so basically just one currency you can buy, and that is silver, and then with silver you can buy all the other things. Or are there multiple things you can buy? Or is it really just you're basically buying silver and that supplies everything?
I think you do just buy I think you just use the silver to buy the crates. I'm not sure if you can...
Golden, some shards or something. I wasn't sure if that was something you earn.
So there's silver, and then there's like silver dust or whatever it is. So if you get shaders that you don't like, you can just break them down, and then you can use them to buy specific shaders or emotes or whatever.
Right, okay.
So the other thing that people were getting upset about, again, I think this might have been a bit of an overreaction, is that you can also, from those loot crates that you can pay money for, but you don't have to, you can get mods for your weapons and your armor, which are usually, it's just like, change this weapon so that it does fire damage instead of whatever it does now, or whatever. Like, they are, they're not like, this adds like 50 damage to this gun, or this makes this armor loads better. There's a bit of that, but that's, so say, you got an armor mod, there'll be one that gives it an extra 5 defense, or it makes your grenades recharge more quickly. So it's not like you're just buying an advantage, it's just, you've still got a pick. I think that's just in there for people who really want to like get really hardcore and thinking about like character builds and really sort of tweaking the numbers. And if that's how you want to play the game, knock yourself out. But
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is all thinking. We don't actually know. This is the problem with knee-jerk reactions.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of articles and people bitching and moaning about this sort of stuff, but we don't really know how this is affecting the game, or it could be horrible. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, they'd be so thick to try and add that stuff that, they're trying to build something that people are going to be playing for the next God knows how many years.
Yeah.
You start doing this pay-to-win shit, it ain't going to last very long.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The reputation's going to go down, and a whole fucking franchise could go down in smoke.
Yeah.
So they're not thick. They're not going to try and completely destroy something that they want people playing for God knows how many years. So let's just trust them for a bit until we know exactly what's right or wrong.
Yeah, like I
right
do
now,
think
no one can really know.
They're testing the boundaries a bit. But I am finding it difficult to get upset about it. In fact, the way the shaders work now, I sort of prefer it, because it could be that, in Destiny 1 you'd get a shader and you like the way it makes most of your armor look, apart from your helmet or your boots, where there'll just be like one sort of ill-fitting colour that looks kind of stupid. But now you can just sort of mix and match and try different shaders on different bits of armor and play around with it. So that sort of freedom actually works all right. But I do believe that, the decision was made to sort of rinse money out of people. But similarly, I've not felt anywhere near like the need to actually pay money for them. So
no, same.
Yeah.
Just one last question.
Have we done?
What do we know? What the currency is for Xur?
Apparently, it's just legendary shards. So save them. Break down your legendary gear you're not using.
Yeah, I accidentally sold. I accidentally spent my legendary shards on fuck all.
But basically, any
I've done
legendary
that.
item you get, you dismantle that, and that's where you get shards, right?
Yes,
cool.
Basically. Dave, so because what happened to me was I had just talked to someone and completed a quest, and then it came up with like a purple item, which I thought was a quest reward.
Same.
Yeah, and just turned out I was buying it for legendary shards.
Yeah, so stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're considering getting it and you're worried about the commitment, just don't. Just grab it and just play it. Like, you don't worry about what activities you're doing. Don't worry so much about what gear you're using. Just use whatever feels right. And just,
feel free to join our clan. Feel free to meet up with our listeners on the Discord channel, who I'm sure will be more than happy to play along with you.
Yeah.
Get involved, because this is going to be big. I think this is going to take over my life now for a long time.
It's basically this until Mario Odyssey, finish Mario Odyssey, then this, then death.
Yep. I hope that was okay. I hope that we didn't bore the people that don't play Destiny too much. And I hope. Good point. Yeah, fuck you. Let's get onto emails now.
Okay, this is annoying because I've got to bring it up. Okay.
Oh, I am sorry.
Oh, sorry. Is this an inconvenience for you, James?
It is. Yeah. It's Okay. Lee says, "What are your moments of buying madness or impulse buying of the more pricey gaming items? Not games unless they are special editions at daft prices."
It doesn't happen much anymore. It used to be those, like, you remember those, like, buy 3 games for 20 quid or whatever it was in Game and Game Station. I remember just, like, being there and buying games that I never played. It was just, I thought, I might as well get that, and just thinking, oh, what the hell. I remember buying the special edition of Dead Rising, which came with a Xbox 360 faceplate.
Nice.
Remember those?
Yeah.
And putting it on my Xbox, and then within about a week just going, oh, what have I done? And then taking it off again. And that just being floating around the house. That was a bad one. Anyone else?
I bought a full price copy of Sonic Heroes for the Nintendo GameCube. I know that you said not games unless they're special editions, but paying any money for that game is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
I can't really think. Really, I've stopped buying special editions. In fact, the last one I bought was Halo 2, and I didn't. After that, I thought no more, because there was a documentary on that which I wanted to watch before the game. And I said, "Don't watch it; it says spoilers in it." And I thought, I've just watched it now. So that was annoying.
What about what? You didn't get the Halo 3 with the big tin case?
No. What was that one with like the cat helmet? Was that Halo 3?
No. Yeah, Halo 3 was the cat helmet one, but the sort of £10 extra one was this sort of steel case with 2 discs in it.
Yeah, I got that one.
That completely destroyed your discs in the post. You got it and just rattled about.
Wasn't that the one that had the documentary on? The one I basically got the steel tin.
I think it was, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I can't really think of anything. I mean,
Matt, which version of Destiny 2 did you buy?
I bought the one with the best value.
So the special edition then?
Well, no, it's the digital deluxe version.
Digital deluxe. What do you get?
I got the DLC. I got both DLC packs when they come out. And I might have got like a legendary emote and a sword. Maybe I'm not sure.
You didn't reply to my message when I sent you what my legendary emote was that I unlocked in the game last night.
Yeah, it was very good.
What was it? When did you send it to me? I don't remember that.
It's fucking
last night. It was in the group chat.
Yeah.
I've got the Salt Bay. My character does the Salt Bay.
Amazing!
Thing.
I don't think I saw that message.
Did you know that? Did you know that was in the game? Right. Okay. Watch the video that I sent last night into the group because it's even better than you think it will be. Like it's so good.
I logged in today, I logged in today, and maybe did loads of missions before and didn't cash them in. But when I went in today and went to the farm, I had loads of like gifts and stuff, and I got another emote. It certainly wasn't Salt Bay. But how did you get that? Did you get given it or what?
No, yeah, it was an unlock it from an engram, I think,
cool.
or something like that. And it's not that regular. Like I was searching Salt Bay Destiny on Twitter, and like no one's talking about it. So either Salt Bay's dead now, or that it's not actually that common.
Well, it's an exotic, isn't it? Yeah. Because
I do remember saying, I didn't see the video, but I remember saying about exotic emote. Okay, cool, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, check out the video. It's fucking fantastic.
Insane.
Right, okay. Is that it, James? Have you got an answer to that?
No, I mean, I regret buying Donkey Kong 64 for like about 80 quid or something when it first came out, which was
oh god, yeah,
insane because that wasn't a very good game. But
could you imagine buying what was it, DJ Hero when that first came out? Because that was like 70 quid, and like within a week it was like 15 quid with the turntable everywhere. It was shocking, really.
If I'd known how it was going to go, might not have bought a Wii U day one. That was
a bad choice.
A lot of money
it?
that needn't have been spent.
On the flip side, I should have bought a Wii U for $1.99 with 2 games when I decided to, and then James talked me out of it. It'd be even cheaper within a year, and it just wasn't.
Dave, I've just seen a video. That Salt Bay is incredible.
Yeah, I told you, so it's really good.
That's
isn't
amazing.
It? Yeah, I was just running around doing that now, and that's just beautiful. And it also gives me hope that the Brent dance is in there somewhere. It's got to be.
Oh,
it's got to be.
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I also did regret buying a DSi. That was another.
Did you? I really like DSi.
It is a waste.
Oh no, I'm getting confused. No, I'm thinking of the DS Lite. No, I never had a DSi.
No, the DS Lite was
incredible.
It was a brilliant machine, and the DSi was basically the same thing, slightly bigger with a camera. Rubbish camera.
DS Lite still might be my favourite looking Nintendo handheld.
Yeah, I love my DS Lite. That was my last one, I think, before the Switch.
It looks so good, and I found mine recently, and it still looks incredible.
What colour did you have?
I had the navy blue one, which was Japan only. Actually,
I think
you'll find.
Was it polar white or something? Ice white?
Yeah, polar white. Yeah, the navy one was from Japan only, because I imported the original. No, because they come out so much earlier than they did over here. Like the original DS come out way before the in Japan.
Yeah, it was still those dark days, wasn't it? Japan getting things well early. But I was lucky enough to have a mate in Japan at the time as well, so I got the navy blue. Proper nice.
Oh, Play Asia, mate. I was all over that. And
that's another one. I use them loads.
Okay. I remember taking it to the pub, the DS, when it come out in Japan. So it was a couple of months away from being released in England. I remember taking it to the pub and just everyone just thinking, what the fuck is that thing? Because I mean, it looked, as I said at the time, it looked like a fucking prototype that had been dragged out of like some basement somewhere.
The original design was awful.
It was. It was awful looking machine.
Who knew that was going to destroy the PSP? Fucking hell, man.
I know, it's crazy. You could play Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PSP. It's insane.
I remember like that being announced like Who do they think they're kidding? Like the PSP had all the power, and that thing's just going to die. Look, it looks like a barcode battler. It's got 2 weird screens. What are they thinking? And now look at us.
What were we thinking, mate? What were we thinking? Yeah. Next question.
Months later, years later, there'll be the Galaxy 3DS. It was all worth it.
Next question.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be a pain because this is from Remalaptar. Is that right?
You added an L.
Yeah.
Did I?
Remalaptar.
If he was on Sound of Play, he would have pronounced that perfectly.
I do believe it's Remalaptar.
He's going, better pretend to be thick again.
Remember Laptar. Okay, so I was telling a good friend of mine about my.
You're doing it on purpose.
Whatever, I'm not doing it on purpose. I can't pronounce this name.
Ting tang Ramalaptar. God.
So I was telling a good friend of mine about my 20 seconds of fame when Farley had a stroke trying to pronounce my Twitter handle. He told me I could tell. It's very accurate. He told me I should tell you where it came from. So here it goes. At school, I was in art with a guy called Adam Suter. Nice chap, tall, kind eyes. Anyway, people always referred to me as Palmer, for that was my name. It still is. For some reason, Adam didn't quite get this and called me Palama. You know, like Palmer, but with an additional A. I don't know why. A bit like a shit Trigger and Rodney from Only Fools and Horses. So the time came when I had to think up a PSN name, and for some reason I remembered Adam and his surplus A. But Palama didn't seem cool enough, so I reversed it to Remalap. Is that right?
Yeah.
3 syllables!
Remalap.
I know. Still didn't quite hit my button, so I thought I'd turn it into a dinosaur by suffixing it with tar, and thus Remalaptar came to be. Was that right that time, Sean?
Yes.
You nailed it.
Right. So, James, you can blame Adam Suter. And then that's it. And this is, where did you get your Twitter handle from?
Well, my Twitter handle's my name, but with an S on.
Mine is my name.
It was free.
Yeah.
So mine used to be Mr. Melanin, which is a reference to the fact that I have vitiligo, which is an autoimmune condition, which means my immune system attacks any of the melanin in my skin, which is why I'm so disgustingly pale and more than half an hour in sunlight burns me. And then, I can't remember, Captain Toss was just pure spur of the moment. I was making a secondary Xbox Live account for something and just thought it sounded funny.
Yeah, and I've said this story before, but the time that my wife and I were sitting down watching The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, and literally as he was being, spoilers, as he was being led into the gas chamber, Captain Toss came, his online flashed up on the screen. Kind of ruined the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Oodles and the Discord gang say, so the lads in the Discord have discussed our gaming confessions. We have some admitting to not liking Metal Gear Solid, Witcher 3, and myself not ever playing a Smash Brothers game. What are your gaming confessions?
I mean, not understanding a single plot in a Metal Gear Solid game is probably mine.
I think that's fair enough, though. I think a lot of fans would... I mean, I like Metal Gear Solid games, but I've no beef with that.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's fair enough as well, to be honest with you.
Well, in terms of I've tried to play Ocarina of Time like 3 times and I don't like it. There you go.
Whoa,
no, I know.
Whoa,
I know.
That's quite a big one.
Yeah.
You mean you didn't like it when you were a kid either?
I never played it when I was a kid, which I think is part of the problem.
Have you not? Where's the furthest you've been in?
Like literally getting to Hyrule Castle, and yeah, I can't remember.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no.
Have you not?
And I've been to the Goron place.
Yeah, but everyone's been to.
Yeah, I know.
This is.
I know.
It's probably good you're taking a year off, Sean.
Yeah, no.
Frankly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still not going to play
Sean,
it.
do you know
that's your homework
gimmick? Do you know what the thing is about that game?
Well, it's like the best game ever made.
No, like what? It's got a gimmick to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's a. So you can time travel and stuff. Yeah. Oh my god, Sean, that is like.
I thought you all knew this. Andy's berated me publicly for it loads of times, so I just assumed it was common knowledge.
Oh, it's so good, that game. Sean, I bet you're like, well, I'm more of a Majora's Mask guy myself.
You see, that's what kills me as well, is because I know I would be that guy, but I'm aware that Majora's Mask is sort of interesting because of the way it plays off, like Ocarina of Time and sort of other sort of Zelda traditions.
It's also not as good as Ocarina of Time. Okay. I don't care what anyone says. People are saying that to try and be different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, actually, I think Nirvana's best album means... No, it's not. You know it's Nevermind. We all know it's Nevermind.
No. It's a neutro, Dave.
It is, yes.
Oh, you're one of those guys, are you?
Well, yeah, I'm like, okay, it's the better album. It's a neutro.
Of course it is. Oh, you're so different, Matt. Go on.
No, everyone says that.
Go on. Next question.
You're the different one.
Mike Singh says, "Hi guys, loving the show. It's the best podcast out there. Not that I really need to tell you a lot. See, I'm not even censoring this stuff now. I'm just going to go with it. Dave sure does know what makes a good podcast. I wish I had censored that. You cut out. I wish I had cut that out. I would like to know...
No, you cut out. I can't hear you. What was that?
Did I cut out? That's amazing.
It sounded fine on mine, but...
Discord.
Okay. Shall I start again, yeah?
Yeah.
And just the last bit. You said about not censoring it, and then what happened?
The next bit says, Dave sure does know how to make... what makes a good podcast.
It didn't cut out, James. I just wanted to hear it
again. James.
Dickhead. Anyway, I would like to know if Hollywood was to make a movie out of the computer game show, what A or C list actors would play each of you? Looking forward to hearing your answers, especially James's. Why?
Well, we've done this before, but we could do it again, can't we?
Yeah, why not?
Who did we say last time? Wasn't yours Chris Martin?
Yeah, sounds about right. Either that or Chris Pratt before he got in shape.
But these just like lookalikes. We're thinking like actors. Chris Martin's not an actor.
Yeah, no, that's why we went wrong last time. We said it was just like a really bizarre film that we created with people that hadn't even acted before.
Chris Martin could act, I reckon.
Go on, Matt. You know, I don't know actors' names and stuff. I'm really bad with that shit.
I think there's an actor with the most generic face ever out there, but...
Farley would be Anthony Hopkins.
What? Why is that?
I'm saying just because I think if you just put on like a wig and a nice jumper, I think he could do a good James Farley.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's that guy? Ryan Reynolds. He's generic, isn't he?
You're Ryan Reynolds. You're fucking Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Wait, is that him? I can't remember.
I'm going to be Gosling then.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, Gosling. You'd be Gosling, I think.
God, what is this film?
No,
Jim Carrey?
Matt is fucking... what's he called? Jesus Christ, can't even remember the name of the film. What a fucking idiot. The one where he made the robot who's like a real person. It's a really good film. I can't remember the fucking name. Sorry, what did you say?
Ex
Machina. Yes.
Yeah.
You are that guy.
Isaac.
Jacobson?
Yes. Isaac.
Which one? What? The guy
bald
that
lad
turns
with
up
a massive beard, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, no, that's not Matt.
Well, you just said Ryan Reynolds.
Be,
I'm more him than Reynolds.
It could be. Okay, I will go with that.
Yeah, he's just for makeup, wouldn't he?
Sean, though. Who would Sean be? Steve Merchant?
Steve Merchant?
Not that you look like him, but again, I think he could do a good Sean.
That's a tough one.
Jesus Christ.
It's great.
Sean Bell, played by...
You see, this is the thing, right? I've definitely mentioned this before. I had a mate in high school who was really good at drawing, and he used to do these like amazing like caricatures of people, and he could never do me because I had no features. I had no defining features whatsoever.
Well, that's my problem, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just preset one.
Yeah.
It's
not white lad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
it's not the best answer to a question we've ever given, is it?
It's not. I like the bit where we tried to remember names.
Next question.
No, I'm thinking of the guy.
Please,
hang on.
Matt. We've just been talking about how we were struggling to finish names,
Seth
and now
Rogen,
you're
if he loses weight, because he's got the throw as well. So you could do like
Sean.
You could do college Sean and regular Sean.
Wait, Seth Rogen, if he loses weight, I think he's about right, isn't he?
No, I think he needs to lose a few pounds and he can play you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get him on the phone.
Next question.
Sean Thomas says, thought I'd send in 3 whilst they occur to me. Obviously,
Cheeky bastard.
Obviously, both you and I have lives, so I fully expect you to just pick the best one or read out the others another time. Okay.
No, that's not how James works.
No.
Sure. You know that.
Should I just choose the best one, or should I just read them all?
Notice the moment James thought, I should have read this before.
I should have put these in the
Well,
doc.
not number 2, because we talked about that already. So let's just right, hang on, I'm in the doc now. Let's just delete that. There we go. That's gone.
Let's do number 1, James.
Alright, despite their reputation for rinsing their punters, Nintendo do value backwards compatibility and show with the Wii U that they're okay with using old peripherals on their new machines. So fast forward 5 years' time, do you think the Switch is now their future platform for the next decade or so? And if so, will subsequent iterations of it merely let you swap the central screen component for more powerful versions with better battery life while allowing you to keep your Joy-Cons and dock?
It's possible.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. Why not?
Sounds
reasonable, You're going to get a new tablet.
I think they'll hold off on... Do you remember when it was first announced, everyone was like, and then they could just do all like weird different Joy-Con, do different things for different games. It's like, probably not.
I think that'll come.
Yeah.
I think they will do stuff like that, but I think it's a long way off.
That's going to be a very un-Nintendo thing, though, isn't it? For them to communicate, keep your stuff and just buy a new tablet, and that it doesn't feel very Nintendo.
I don't think that is Nintendo. I don't think that is un-Nintendo. I think that's perfect, isn't it? You just buy the new tablet.
Yeah, I get.
Everything's linked to account.
Because they've said that they're looking into doing VR with it, right? But they would need a higher def screen for that to not be shit. So that's like one obvious way this could go. If it's a higher res screen, but also slap it in a headset, and it does VR.
Biggest headset ever.
Yeah, it'd be pretty ridiculous, but that's one sort of feasible way it could go, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, I do believe that'll be the case.
Michael Downey says, with the news that over the weekend Lawbreakers hit an all-time low of less than 50 concurrent players on Steam, do you think...
Oh my god,
that's bad.
That's awful.
Yeah. Do you think we've reached a point where dominating forces in gaming are squeezing out independent ideas? Are we going to see less and less new multiplayer shooter experiences whilst games like Overwatch, CSGO, COD and Battlefield still rule the roost? And because James won't read this out, I love the show. Every week you chaps make me laugh like a drain. Apart from James reading the news, he sounds like he's phoning it in. Well,
I never...
What? Exactly,
I never... emails.
Yeah, but this thing is, I never read the news, so it's Sean that's phoning it in, clearly.
Yeah.
I think that's a slip of the tongue, isn't it? I think he means reading the letters and that.
Probably.
Because you do sound like you're phoning it in, James. It's taking a piss now, really.
No, I don't. That's not true.
It's a joke.
You know how I talk about how PewDiePie should be, realise how lucky he is to have the job that he's doing and, maybe show a little bit of, gratitude for it by not being racist.
Yeah.
I think the same about you, James, to be quite honest with you.
Well, look, you were my +1 at that event, David. Think on.
Only because you answered the email first. I'm telling you.
What would have been amazing, what you should have done, James, is just gone like, James Farley and +1. Yeah, I don't know this guy, so...
Yeah, sorry, my guest couldn't make it.
To answer the question...
Works its way out. Go on.
I think if anything... Small independent titles have been doing better than ever, so I don't think that's the problem. I am fascinated as to what on earth has happened to Lawbreakers. Or it looked great. It wasn't like we talked a few weeks back about stuff like Agents of Mayhem, where you can take one look at it and just be like, I don't know who's this for, right?
Yeah.
But Lawbreakers, I just looked at it, I was like, okay, so it's a bit Overwatch, but it looks like it'll appeal to the sort of Quake / Unreal Tournament crowd, and it's got interesting movement and stuff. That seemed like an easy sell to me. I didn't buy it just because I personally didn't have room for another multiplayer shooter in my life, and I guess that is the problem. But then
that could be the answer then, because a lot of these multiplayer shooters have a longer tail. We all know Destiny's going to be about for a long time. We know that Rainbow Six is being hammered non-stop.
Yeah.
People aren't looking for new games all the time. They're looking for something to invest in.
Whoa.
Have you heard of a little game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds?
Exactly.
Selling 1 million copies a week. It's up to 10 million now. I don't think you could compare that to a online multiplayer
first-person shooter, though, Matt.
But it's an online multiplayer shooter, and it's an independent idea that's come from nowhere. So
yeah, but I don't think you can compare that to the like of the Call of Duties, the Overwatch, the Destiny.
It's the thing is like, what's it called? What is this? This is Lawbreakers, yeah. It's like that thing, isn't it? Of like sort of these sort of like mid-range ones that are like they're the ones that are like sort of seem to be. No,
suffering. It's a certain type. An online competitive. It's a traditional online competitive multiplayer shooter, and that's not what PUBG is.
No, but he's saying, are these big games like Overwatch, CS:GO, COD, etc.? Are they just destroying? Are they dominating the place? That get the sort of arena so much that they're squeezing out independent ideas? Well, no, that's not the case, because there are games like PUBG that do.
All right. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that statement. What I'm saying is that when it comes to something like a Titanfall, a Call of Duty, a Destiny, when you think about their Crucible stuff, Overwatch and stuff like that, I think they have a lot of crossover with that type of player that wants to play an online shooter like that. Whereas I feel PUBG is slightly different to that. I don't
get what you mean there.
What do you mean?
Well, you said those sorts of players like to play online shooters.
Yeah, that audience.
Go on.
The people, I don't know how else to explain it to you, Matt. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. People that like playing online competitive multiplayer shooters, right? They want a certain type of game to play. These games are now focusing on grabbing that audience and keeping them playing that game. So no longer are they playing it for a couple of months and then moving it on to the next online shooter. They are sticking with that game because they've invested in it and there's still stuff to unlock and do in it. With PUBG, it feels like it's not a completely different audience. I think there's crossover, but I think it's different enough for someone to play a normal, traditional, what I consider a traditional online shooter, and PUBG at the same time. Whereas someone that's investing in something like Overwatch or Destiny, probably not going to be taking on something like Lawbreakers, because that's a completely
definitely. I mean, a lot of those games less so Battlefield, but Overwatch, definitely Destiny. These are more like games as a service. There's lots to do. You'll keep playing them, but I just feel like those games they haven't reached a point where they are dominating. They're not that dominating. They're not destroying everything, because things like PUBG can still come out of nowhere and smash everything else on Steam. So I think the answer is yes. Lawbreakers, it was in the middle space, as James said. It's sort of the AA stuff. It wasn't quite AAA. It wasn't games as a service. It wasn't this big indie hit like PUBG, and it sadly seemed to capture no one, which is a shame, because when I played the beta, I thought it was brilliant. But got Destiny now. Those games are massive, but independent ideas can still blow up, and PUBG is a prime example of that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What I was saying is that maybe that's a reason why Lawbreakers failed. The fact that people are like, well, if I'm playing an online multiplayer game like this, I might as well put it on something that I know I'm going to spend a lot longer with, and I can upgrade it. Like, even when I was playing, like when John was saying, "Oh, get Lawbreakers, it's amazing." I'm sure it is. I trust his opinion, but at the same time, Destiny was around the corner, and if I'm putting time into anything, it's going to be that, because I get to unlock cool shit for my character.
I wonder what they'll do next with this. I mean, do you think they'll take it like free to play or whatever?
It was maybe that anyway. It
was originally free to play. I think they will. Yeah, I think that'll be free to play. I mean, it's ridiculous if there was 50 people playing it. That's crazy.
I mean, it's 50 people playing on Steam. I would love to know the console numbers, but again, everything has been dominated on Steam by PUBG. I mean, they had more concurrents than Dota like this week. Like, everyone is playing on Steam. Everyone's playing PUBG. So I'm not surprised. I would like to see if the numbers are that low also on console. I have a feeling they will probably be a bit higher, because there's no PUBG on console yet. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like, it came out on PC when PUBG was blowing up on PC, and Destiny was coming for console players. So, yes, it's a shame.
Okay, cool. Next cue.
Okay, we've got tweets now. Ryan Hammond says, Mario and Rabbids put a new face on XCOM. What series would you tap into if you were tasked with directing a Destiny competitor?
A Destiny competitor?
It's interesting. Just what I'm thinking, Dave. I think on Giant Bomb or something last week, they were saying, like, why isn't there like a a Nintendo version of Overwatch with all like the Nintendo characters, and I thought that would be amazing. But then they were also saying, well, they sort of got Splatoon for that. But imagine, all the various Nintendo characters, their various attributes. I guess you can take stuff they did in Smash, but put in like a third person or first person shooter. That'd be really
risky though.
Yeah, risky.
Fucking risky.
And then they've got Splatoon
because
for that,
if it's dog shit, then that's a genuine Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Full of their characters that gets laughed at.
It's an embarrassment.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then surely it's to be on the same level as things like Mario Golf and Mario All-Star Soccer and Mario Tennis, right?
I don't know, because they're more fun party games rather than competitive multiplayer shooters.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a lot less embarrassing to release a mediocre sports game than it is to release a mediocre first-person shooter. Or hero-style game, if you know what I mean.
So I wonder if like Microsoft will do anything with like Halo with this, like as in try and make it a Destiny kind of competitor. To do something with it.
I was thinking that last week because Halo 5 was so disappointing for me. Had some aspects of multiplayer were good, but I didn't know all the cards. The single player, I was not a fan at all. Like the squad stuff and getting enemies to revive you. I've always loved every Halo. Those are the reasons to own an Xbox, and I got super excited. That was like a big tentpole release for me each year whenever they came out. The last one was so disappointing. The next one, I don't know what they're going to do. Will they migrate to more a Destiny thing? But that's basically what their original creators, Bungie, have done. So are they going to try and do what Bungie do so well? I'm not so sure. Will they just double down on like the single-player experience but have less multiplayer? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be fascinating to see where they go with Halo because it feels like that's another series of Microsoft's where I'm not sure what they do next. I mean, I don't know what sales numbers of 5 were like, but it doesn't seem like it did anything like the previous Halo games. It's fascinating to see where the next Halo is going to go. In terms of the question, I have no idea.
Read the room.
Oh, I thought you were going to jump in with some more stuff, David.
Why? What gave you that impression?
Tom Doherty
Why are you getting angry at me? Why are you getting angry at me?
No, because, okay, you're saying read the room, right? But so he's finished that, so how do I not know that Sean's got something killer that he's going to put in here?
Because then it all goes quiet.
Yeah, I'm sitting here not saying anything, You
said it pretty much straight away as soon as he'd finished speaking.
Did I, Sean?
I'm alright, I've got nothing, mate.
Come on now.
Tom Downey says, what was your earliest memory?
Have we not done this? Or was that?
I don't know.
We did for earliest gaming memory.
Oh, right, yeah.
We didn't do earliest memory, and I don't know. I haven't really got the earliest memory. My memory is total dog shit anyway. Like it's so bad that I don't remember anything. Like there's huge chunks of my childhood that I just completely forgot. I don't remember the first time a memory popped in. Like, I haven't got a memory from when I was...
You still know what the earliest one was, though. Like, it might be when you were, like, 15, nope. But it's...
I think... there's part of me that thinks I remember being in, like, my mum's arms when my brother went to school. Mm-hmm. But in that memory, my brother leaves for school on his own, and he would have been about 5. so that definitely didn't happen.
Yeah, fair dues. I can remember being in my pram. That's the first.
No, you can't.
I can remember that. I can remember my earliest memory is of sitting in a high chair playing with Lego, and watching, because my parents were watching TV. I can remember that.
Well, I remember looking outside my mother's
I know what you were going to say, Dave.
vagina and seeing the doctor and just thinking, oh, what's that? It's a human.
And I'm like, I want to stay there, please.
Matt?
I think I remember sort of eating one of my sister's rusks when I was on a hospital bed. I don't know. I mean, I was obviously young, but God knows. I mean, my sister's like 3 years younger than me, so yeah, I reckon I was probably like 4 or 5. Who knows?
I remember going to the cinema and watching Little Mermaid. That must have been quite...
Wasn't that... Didn't you take Harry on Saturday?
I mean, there's obvious jokes and there are obvious jokes. Just avoid those ones, Matt. Avoid them. Go on, next.
Moviesaurus Rex says, what would you rather have? A Pokemon RPG as deep and varied as Skyrim, Half-Life 3, or FIFA vs. PES 2019? It's got to be Half-Life 3, isn't it?
I'd be tempted by the first one, mate. I think Half-Life 3 is going to be a disappointment no matter what.
It's never coming out.
It's never coming, so
well, yeah. But no, I'd be tempted by the first one, man. Imagine that. A proper fucking reboot.
Oh, I'll be all over that, yeah.
It's obviously Half-Life 3, but it's never going to happen, so Half-Life 3.
Yeah. Right, one more. Let's do one more.
That's it.
I can feel the energy sapping out of the podcast.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah. Good. Right, Matt, what should people do on the internet?
Yeah, you should follow us on Twitter at ComputerGamePod, and we want your questions for the live show, which is happening this Saturday, 6 p.m. on twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show. I'll create an event so you can go over there and sort of like sign up and register and follow the event, and it will notify you, or just follow us over there. What's so funny?
It's just like the organisation. You got it all worked out.
Well, how about you organise it, James?
We know that's not going to happen. But
I won't bother. I'm just gonna sit down and relax for a minute, and you guys can do all the organising. Is that
sure?
Cool.
And hey, if you've enjoyed the past month's worth of the Computer Game Show, we've got a tip jar. Don't have to do it. But if you feel that you want to, say, well done, lads, there's some good shows, then where do they go, Matt?
Ask James.
James?
I've no idea.
Okay, so go there. And, Matt, come on, what is it you know?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, well, you can go to streamlabs.com/The Computer Game Show, or if that doesn't work for you, you can go to paypal.me/The Computer Game Show.
Just PayPal us. Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for the live show, Saturday, 6:00. Be there.
This week.
My last ever episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so
shit, we totally forgot to mention that.
Email us or tweet us. Yeah, Sean's last show for a year.
At least. Just let us know what your favourite moments from Sean on the Computer Game Show is. And we'll read them out on that. So that's the 16th of September, 6 p.m. Get onto twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show. We'll see you there. Hopefully, if I could get rid of this cold.
And if James organises it all.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. If James turns up at the right time on Friday, let's find out.
James, bring all the cables and all the monitors and all the stuff, yeah?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Thanks for living it. Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Why do you always leave a big gap on that bit?
Hey, goodbye.